Chapter 51. The rain curtain above the sky dispersed, and Jiraiya and others saw the rising sun in this country where it is rare to see the sun. After a night of fighting, it was over, and everyone in Konoha began to clean up the battlefield. Blood mixed with rain soaked the land. Jiraiya looked at the corpse being dragged away on the ground and couldn't help but sigh. What did the war bring? Orochimaru on the side stared at the corpses and gave his own answer. Die. Orochimaru. Jiraiya looked at the coldest Orochimaru. He didn't expect Orochimaru to express such emotion. Unfortunately, he didn't know that what Orochimaru lamented was not the cruelty of war, but the fragility of life. A face that had not changed in more than 10 years appeared in Orochimaru's mind. He couldn't help but have some doubts in his heart. Is there immortal life and ageless appearance in this world? There's no point in lamenting here. Tsunade turned and walked towards the tent. What we should do is end this war as early as possible. Jiraiya nodded, agreeing with Tsunade's statement. Orochimaru was silent for a while, and finally walked towards the tent. Let me help you prepare the antidote. Time flies. With the help of Orochimaru, Tsunade developed an antidote to the toxin in Tsunagakure village in less than 3 days. At the same time, news came from Hokage Sakumo that he had cut off Tsunagakure's supply line. It would take time for the other party to reorganize the supply line, and he also killed the son and daughter-in-law of Joe Elder of Tsunagakure village. The name of Konoha's White Fang was well known in the ninja world, and he entered the hostile village alone to cut off the supply line. Such a ninja is really terrifying. With Tsunade's antidote and Tsunagakure's supply lines cut off, Konoha launched a general attack on Tsunagakure. The Tsunagakure side was defeated across the board, and in the end, in order to preserve its strength, Kazekage, the third generation, surrendered to Konoha's third Hokage on behalf of Tsunagakure village. This battle between Konoha and Tsunagakure ended with Konoha's victory. The ninjas of Sand Hidden Village withdrew one after another and withdrew from the country of rain. In the capital of the Kingdom of Fire, Tetsuya had milk tea in his left hand and fried chicken in his right hand. He drank a sip of milk tea and took a bite of fried chicken. Then he picked up a chess piece and placed it on the chessboard with his oily hands. Look at my divine hand, hee, it's awesome. Izuna, who was sitting opposite Tetsuya, couldn't help but sigh and rubbed his eyebrows. What a god's hand, but you have once again put yourself in a desperate situation. As he spoke, Izuna placed a piece in another inconspicuous position, directly killing all of Tetsuya's pieces. You lost. This is the 6th time you have tricked yourself. If it doesn't work, just play with your own shadow clone. Oh, don't. Playing with your own shadow clone isn't fighting each other. What's the point? Why don't you play with me again? I won't play anymore. It's boring. I'd rather go fishing than play chess with you. Izuna clapped his hands and walked outside in unison. He planned to go for a walk outside, catch a fish or something. Boss. Suddenly a cloud of white mist appeared, and a dozen or 7 jumped out. Hey, 1 against 7, you came just in time. Come and play a game of chess with me. Fried chicken is enough. 1,7 saw the steaming fried chicken on the table next to them, and their mouths couldn't help but drool. But in the end, reason defeated desire. He wiped his mouth with his little paw and took out a letter. Forget about playing chess. I'm here to deliver a message. There's new news about the tentacle monster. Oh, there's some new news from Kakuzu, let me take a look. Jai put down the milk tea and took the letter, taking down the plate of fried chicken on the table and handing it to a dozen or 7. After hearing the new news from Kakuzu, Izuna, who originally planned to go fishing, also retreated to the room. Is it Kakuzu's letter? Is it the latest information on the war situation in the Land of Rain? It should be done. Open it quickly and take a look. I would like to know whether the war will develop as you predicted. Just watch it. Jai quickly opened the letter. There wasn't much on the letter, but the events recorded were quite shocking. Everything was as Tetsuya predicted, nothing happened to Omegakure village, but Konoha and Tsunagakure village took the lead in deciding the winner, and Konoha finally won. On the frontal battlefield, Konoha's Tsunadeheim cracked the poison of the puppet master of Tsunagakure village and lost the suppression of the poison. On the frontal battlefield, the ninjas of Tsunagakure village were at a disadvantage against the ninjas of Konoha. The leaf ninja is unstoppable. At the same time, in the rear, Konoha White Fang went deep behind enemy lines alone, disrupting the supply of Tsunagakure village. Both the front and the rear suffered blows. Kazekage, the third generation of Sand Hidden Village, knew that they had lost the capital to compete with Konoha in this war, and finally surrendered and withdrew from the struggle for hegemony. Look, the development of this matter is exactly as I said. Seeing the content on the letter, Jia showed a proud smile. Are you kidding? How could it be different from what I predicted? I am a man who has read the script. Izuna felt a little surprised. Tetsuya really got everything right. It's exactly what you said. Then the war between Konoha and Omegakure village will follow. I'm afraid this war won't last long. Well, almost. However, Konoha has just finished the battle with Tsunagakure village, and it still needs time to adjust its state and gather manpower. And Sancho Hanzo is not weak. As long as third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen doesn't take action himself, it may not be that simple to defeat him. Oh, is this Sancho Hanzo that strong? He actually needs a disciple taught by the inherently evil Senju Tobirama to defeat him. Although Izuna hates Senju Tobirama very much, she still recognizes Senju Tobirama's strength. After all, that guy killed her with his own hands. But that was in the past, and now that he has opened the eternal Mangeki Sharingan, he is not afraid of that inherently evil guy at all. What's more, now that he knows that this inherently evil Senju Tobirama also has the Flying Thunder God Slash, he will definitely not be easily attacked by the opponent if he is prepared. It's not bad, this guy is known as the demigod of the ninja world. By the way, your brother's good friend Senju Hashirama is called the god of ninja by the ninjas in the ninja world. Senju Hashirama? God of ninja. Izuna pondered for a moment, and he recognized that the guy Senju Hashirama could get such a title. After all, that guy was on par with his brother, and seemed to be stronger than his brother. But Hanzo, a mere Sanshouiu, why is he called the demigod of the ninja world? Thinking of this, Izuna couldn't help but think of trying the ingredients of Sancho fish Hanzo. Seeing Izuna's reaction, Tetsuya also understood what the other person was thinking. After all, Uchiha Izuna is also an Uchiha. Chapter 52. Looking at Izuna with strong fighting spirit in his eyes, Tetsuya couldn't help but ask. What do you mean, you want to try the ingredients in Sancho fish Hanzo? Well, I want to give this guy a try. Why is he called the ninja demigod? Since you have such an idea, let's try it. Maybe we can also see the decisive battle between Konoha and Omegakure. To be honest, Jia was also moved and wanted to go out for a walk. Always sitting here and watching the battle situation information sent back by Kakuzu made him feel itchy. You must know that he is a man who participated in World War I. The blue lightning on the battlefield killed countless ninja men with elbow strikes. Nowadays, I just sit at home and watch World War II. What does this sound like? Are you going to? Why don't I go? Izuna smiled and replied. Didn't you say that you are a businessman, and killing is not what you, a businessman, should do? Hey, fighting and killing is really not what I, a businessman, should do, but I am going to the theater. No one said that businessmen are not allowed to join in the fun. You are really a smooth-talking businessman. Hey, that's natural. As a businessman, good eloquence is also necessary. As he spoke, he popped up a flame and burned the letter. 1 against 7. What's the matter, boss? Yidoki, who was holding a big oily chicken leg and munching it wildly, raised his head. His whole head was shiny with oil. Please go there first and tell Kakuzu that we plan to go there. Boss, where are you going? The country of rain. That's right. I got it, boss. 1,7 opened their mouths, stuffed the entire chicken leg in, and then pulled out a complete chicken bone. Throwing away the bones, he clapped his hands, and after doing a backflip, he exploded into a ball of white smoke and disappeared. The country of rain, the village hidden in the rain. The war resulted in a large number of refugees in the Kingdom of Rain. There were wars everywhere in the Kingdom of Rain, which caused these refugees to flock to the hidden rain village. Kakuzu also disguised himself as a refugee and sneaked into the rain-hidden village early. At this moment, the streets and alleys in the most prosperous area of Yuyin village are already full of refugees. They are hiding in the corners and under the eaves to avoid the rain. In a place like this, kind-hearted people occasionally distribute food and daily necessities. If they are far away, nothing will be left when they arrive. And it's in a remote corner of Yuyin village. Kids, why are you here again? Kakuzu, who was disguised as a refugee, came back from gathering information and saw 3 little ghosts outside the door of his temporary stronghold. These 3 little ghosts, 2 boys and 1 girl, one has orange hair and a silly smile on his face, one has red hair with long hair covering his eyes, and there is a little girl with blue hair. Not long after Kakuzu lurked in, he met 3 of them. He exchanged the food in his hand for some information. Then these 3 little ghosts would come over every once in a while. Uncle, we are. Before the orange-haired kid finished speaking, Kakuzu took out some bread from his sleeve and handed it to them. Take the food and leave quickly. We're not here for food. The orange-haired kid still wanted to explain, but at this moment, the red-haired kid next to him made a growling sound from his stomach. Sorry Yahiko, I couldn't help it. Okay, you 3 brats, grab your food and leave quickly. Kakuzu stuffed the bread into their hands, then turned and walked into his temporary stronghold. However, as soon as he walked into the stronghold and was about to close the door, it suddenly started raining outside. Seeing that the rain outside was getting heavier and heavier, Kakuzu sighed. Okay, you 3 brats, come in. I have no choice but to let the 3 little brats get wet in the rain outside. The parents of these 3 brats all died in the war, which is really pitiful. But at this time, there are poor people everywhere in a Megakure village, and it is impossible for him to take care of all the refugees. Kakuzu still feels that it is better for him to put away his ridiculous mercy. After all, before he followed his boss, he was a cold-blooded killer. Now, I should be considered a businessman. Kakuzu's temporary stronghold is not large, with 1 room and 1 living room inside and outside. In the small living room, 3 brats were sitting at the table eating bread, and Kakuzu was sitting aside looking at the rain outside the window. He couldn't help but wonder, was this shabby place really as good as the boss said? Could it develop into a business empire? Ever since he arrived in the country of rain, especially after entering the hidden rain village, he had only one feeling, that is, discomfort, all kinds of discomfort. It's always raining, the roads are slippery and muddy, and whether it's buildings or anything else, it gives people a dark and damp feeling. It's a good place to connect 3 big countries and 3 small countries, but the weather conditions here really don't make transportation convenient. But since the boss said it was feasible here, there must be something special here. Just when Jiao Jiao was sighing, Yahiko, who had eaten enough, walked up to Jiao Jiao. Kakuzu also looked at him strangely. What do you want to do, kid? Uncle, thank you very much for giving us food, so in exchange I will tell you the latest information we got. Hehe. Hearing this, Kakuzu couldn't help laughing. What kind of information can a brat like you get? Damn it, uncle, don't underestimate me, I will become a powerful ninja like Hanzo-sama in the future. As if to prove himself, Yahiko began to talk about the information he and Nagato had collected. It is said to be intelligence, but in fact it is just some things that happened in Yuyin village. These things mean nothing to Kakuzu. As if he noticed Kakuzu's nonchalant look, Yahiko put his hands on his hips in anger, and then started to break the news. He began to tell some news about the battlefield that he had learned, about how the Konoha White Fang went deep into the Kingdom of Wind and cut off Tsunagakura's supplies. Why did Tsunagakura lose to Konoha on the frontal battlefield? Then what happened to Hanzo, the Sancho fish, who led people to attack Konoha stations scattered throughout the land of rain? Kakuzu noticed that when Yahiko mentioned Sancho Hanzo, his eyes looked particularly admiring and a little longing. Hey kid, do you admire that man named Sancho Hanzo? Of course. Yahiko nodded and said. Hanzo-sama is the most powerful ninja in the world now. He is the great hero of our rain country. I believe that Hanzo-sama will be able to drive all those bad guys out of the rain country. In the future, I will become a powerful ninja like Lord Hanzo, so that I can protect everyone, Nagato and Konan. The most powerful ninja in the world. Hearing this title, Kakuzu's mind came up with not only a figure who was always smiling, but also the golden giant who was like a god. Chapter 53. Listening to Yahiko's admiration and praise for Hanzo, Kakuzu smiled. Children are children, they always think that what they have seen is the best. However, Sancho Hanzo is not bad, and he can be regarded as one of the stronger ones among the known strong men in the ninja world today. Kid, why do you want to become a ninja? Kakuzu didn't want to continue listening to a brat praising and worshipping his idol, so he changed the topic. Do you know that becoming a ninja is a very dangerous thing, and you may die? Just like in the current war, many people died one after another on the battlefield, and those were all ninjas. I know, but I'm not afraid of death. Yahiko raised his head and spoke in a very firm tone. Nagato, who had been sitting quietly beside him, suddenly began to tremble. Although his eyes were obscured by his long bangs, Kakuzu could tell that he was very excited. Not all ninjas died, there were civilians too. My parents are obviously not ninjas, why did they kill my parents? Nagato is okay, I will protect you. Seeing Nagato who was shaking all over, Yahiko stepped forward and hugged Nagato's shoulders. Konan also came to Nagato's side and comforted Nagato together. And I will protect everyone too. Yahiko looked at Kakuzu and said. I'm not afraid of death, I'm just afraid of not being able to protect Yahiko and Konan. I want to become a ninja, the most powerful ninja. Only in this way can I protect everyone, and can I change this country and the ninja world. Let's no one in this country and this world will suffer anymore. Looking at the ambitious Yahiko, Kakuzu was also stunned for a while. He noticed that when Yahiko was saying these words, his eyes seemed to be shining with light. No, his whole body was shining, and this light was shining on the other two brats around him. Hee. Kakuzu laughed. He's obviously just a kid, talking big words. I'm not talking big words, I will definitely become a ninja in the future. Kakuzu shook his head. A ninja can't necessarily change everything you wish to change. Well. Yahiko's eyes widened. In his eyes, ninjas are incompetent. Everyone in the ninja world is very envious of people who can become ninjas. Why would this uncle say this? But aren't ninjas the most powerful people? Kakuzu looked at the innocent Yahiko and two other brats. Since these guys always came to annoy him, he decided to teach these brats a lesson and directly expose their beautiful illusions. A kid is just a kid, he doesn't know anything and still likes to talk big words. This world is not as simple as you see. A kid like you can't do anything even if I give it to a ninja. The world is complicated. In some eyes, a ninja is just a knife. The blade will be polished when needed and thrown away when not in use. Damn uncle, why do you talk about ninjas like that? Hanzo-sama and the others are the heroes of the land of rain, they are not just swords that will be thrown aside. Yahiko refuted vigorously, but Nagato seemed to be thinking about something. Kakuzu's evil taste came out, and he planned to teach these little devils a good lesson, telling them what a ninja is and what the real world is. Killing the innocence of a child, oh no, Kakuzu is really too bad. Little ghost, let me tell you, the so-called ninjas are just servants in the eyes of the rich and powerful. They only need to spend some money to let the ninjas run around for them. Kakuzu began to give the three kids a long speech about the truth about the world, puncturing their beautiful fantasy about ninjas, and also telling them how cruel the world is. The expressions of the three people changed from confusion, to shock, to numbness. Konan, the only girl among the three, was almost crying because of what Kakuzu said. After all, for these children who were still full of fantasies about the future, being suddenly dragged into the cruel world of adults was like a dream. The feeling of having your wishes shattered is just too cruel. So, even if you become a ninja, as long as you are not strong enough to change the rules or strong enough to ignore the rules, then you can't do anything, you can't change anything, you can only play by the rules set by others. Inside, you bow your head and work like a slave, running around for a tiny amount of mission rewards. After the mission is completed, the rewards you get for risking your life to complete the mission will be taken away by your village. Money, 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 pay, pay, pay. The uncle only cares about money and pay. The uncle is an evil adult. Humph. Konan held back his tears and turned around, his entire body seemed to swell up with anger. Looking at the angry Konan, Kakuzu felt particularly happy. He didn't know why, but he felt particularly happy bullying these three brats, especially the little girl with blue hair. Humph! You evil uncle, since you said being an ordinary ninja can't change anything, then I will become the most powerful ninja, the powerful ninja that you said can ignore and change the rules. Yahiko said angrily that he just didn't want to accept and he wanted to be a ninja. Oh, really? You want to be a really powerful ninja? Kakuzu smiled. Are you born into a ninja family? What is a ninja family? Yahiko scratched his head in confusion. That is, have any powerful ninjas ever appeared in your family? Yahiko shook his head. So is there any powerful ninjutsu passed down in your family? Yahiko shook his head again. Not to mention passing down anything, because after this war, he was the only one left in their family. Okay, it's settled. In your future life, unless you encounter some kind of adventure, you will never be able to become an absolutely strong person in this life. How could it be? Haha, that's the truth. There are countless ninjas in the ninja world, but looking back, how many Senju Hashirama have appeared? How many Uchiha Madara? How many Salamander Hanzo? Without inheritance, without bloodline, without adventure, you want to become stronger? Dream on, you can have everything in dreams. Yahiko was devastated when he heard this. After Yahiko calmed down, Nagato on the side asked at this time. What if I become a powerful and wealthy person? Can I change the world if I become the kind of person who can make the rules that you mentioned? Looking at Nagato, Kakuzu became interested, as if this red-haired kid was more interesting than that naive kid. I can't tell you anything that is 100% certain, but there is one thing I think makes sense. Money is not everything, but being without money is absolutely impossible. In life, 8 out of 10 things are not satisfactory, but if you have money, you can make your life path much smoother. Chapter 54. Seeing that Nagato didn't seem to believe him, Kakuzu asked. You don't believe it, do you? Then let me ask you, why do you think the Land of Rain will become a battlefield for those big countries? Before Nagato could answer, Yahiko answered first. Because we, the country of rain, are caught between those big countries. Those big countries are all bad people. They are unwilling to start a war in their own country, so they came to our country. Kakuzu ignored Yahiko, but looked at Nagato and asked again. Do you think so too? Isn't that why? Hearing Nagato's answer, Kakuzu laughed. Yes, that's not right either. Let me ask you another question. Why do you think those big countries launch wars? What is their purpose in launching wars? This involves the knowledge blind spots of the 3 little guys. Although they have experienced a lot and appear to be much more mature than their peers in order to survive in the entire war-torn country, they are still just children after all. I can tell by your looks that you don't know, so let me tell you. Kakuzu explained. The reason why these big countries launch wars is naturally for the resources and wealth of other countries. There may be more reasons, such as using external conflicts to quell internal conflicts, and using war to eradicate dissidents, but they can win after fighting. After defeating the opponent, the loser will definitely want something. The loser needs to hand over his things to the winner, whether it is land, materials, or something else. But to put it bluntly, they have reached the end of the war. In the end it's all about money. Money. *3 At this time, all 3 little ghosts were attracted by what Kakuzu said. Yes, it's money. So money is a very important part of this world. With money, you can do a lot of things. Kakuzu said while looking out the window. For example, if Rain Shinobi Village has money, then they can cultivate a large number of ninjas. If Rain Shinobi Village has money, then they can build shelters and let refugees enter the shelters instead of hiding in Rain Shinobi Village. Take shelter from the rain in the streets. If Rain Shinobi Village had money, then everyone would be able to have enough to eat without having to fight for a tiny bit of food. If Rain Shinobi Village has money, they can spend money to bribe those powerful ninjas to help them fight. If Rain Shinobi Village has money. Kakuzu listed various possibilities and at the same time singled out various problems in Rain Shinobi Village. All of these problems can be attributed to one point, that is, Rain Shinobi Village has no money and is extremely poor. But Yahiko, a stubborn person, still refused to accept it. But, uncle, no matter how rich you are, as long as I become a ninja, won't I still be able to steal your money? Oh. Kid, you've got it right. Kakuzu smiled evilly. Do you know what will happen if you rob a rich person, especially someone with money and power? Seeing the evil smile on Kakuzu's face, Yahiko couldn't help but swallow. What will be the outcome? The end result is that that person will put out a lot of money to reward you, your village will come to arrest you, you will become a traitor, and many people will come to hunt you down, because your head can be exchanged for a lot of bounty, and even that person will issue tasks to the major ninja villages and ask for your head. By then, the major ninja villages will send ninjas to hunt you down. By that time, the entire ninja world will have no place for you. Land. Ah! Don't chop off my head to exchange for money! Yahiko screamed, then huddled in the corner and hugged his head. Ha ha ha, kid, what are you afraid of? Your head is worthless now. No one will come and chop your head off. After laughing a few times, Kakuzu continued. Also, why do you think that after becoming a rich and powerful person, you can't become a powerful person. There is no conflict between one's own strength and being rich, right? Think about it, if you are not only powerful, but also very rich, all the shops in the land of rain will be yours, and you will be so rich that everyone has to buy food, clothing and clothes from you, and your strength is still very powerful, so powerful that even Sanshou Hanzo is no match for you, so why don't you just do whatever you want? Nagato was moved after hearing Kakuzu's words. Yahiko on the side also felt that what Kakuzu said made sense. So uncle, what should we do to become rich? What? You want to make money? Yahiko nodded. With money, can we change this country, or even change the world? Ha 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 ha, you are quite good at daydreaming. Go to sleep. There is everything in your dreams. When Yahiko saw Kakuzu laughing at him, he jumped up in anger. Ah! Damn bad uncle, we will definitely become very rich and powerful in the future, and then change the kingdom of rain. Not paying attention, he glanced outside the window and saw that the rain had stopped. Okay kiddos, the rain has stopped, you can go. Nagato stood up and pulled Yahiko's sleeve. Thank you uncle, let's go. Seeing this, Yahiko also thanked him honestly. After all, although this uncle was a bit venomous, he gave them food and left them here to take shelter from the rain. In fact, he was a good person. Watching the three brats leave, Kakuzu shook his head. Hey, kid, try your best to survive in this cruel ninja world. If you can really survive, then maybe I can talk to the boss and let you make money with the boss. As he spoke, he looked in the direction outside Rain Shinobi village. By the way, boss, when will they arrive? Before he came back, he received a dozen or 7 messages saying that the boss and boss Izuna were coming over. In fact, he doesn't quite understand what the boss and the others are doing here. Everything here is wet, and the war is not over yet, and there are victims everywhere. Even if it is doing business, it is obviously not a good time to do business. However, these things don't matter. He is very aware of the strength of his boss. Let alone a small Rain Shinobi village, even if he is told that the two of them came here to participate in the war, boss Izuna is very unhappy when he sees that Sanshou Hanzo. I plan to teach the other side a lesson or something. Wait a minute, is this really the case? Kakuzu suddenly felt as if he had discovered the truth. What, you think this is outrageous? There is nothing outrageous. Although boss Izuna usually seems to be quiet and likes playing chess and fishing when he has nothing to do, he knows very well that boss Izuna is an Uchiha, the younger brother of Uchiha Madara, the Shura of the ninja world. As we all know, Uchiha is eager to fight, especially to challenge the strong. Boss Izuna has nothing to do at the Chiba Hotel. One reason is that he is very aware of the gap between himself and his boss, and the other is because boss Izuna feels that no one is worthy of his challenge. Chapter 55. Aim Hidden Village, Kakuzu's temporary base. You stupid brat! You can't even understand arithmetic, how can you talk about making money? Ah, bad guy, I want to be the strongest ninja, why do I need to learn this? Yahiko looked at the dazzling numbers in front of him and felt that he had a huge headache. Haha, I didn't force you to learn. You can leave at any time. Kakuzu drank from the cup and ignored Yahiko, but looked at Nagato who was studying seriously and nodded with satisfaction. Yahiko pouted, looked at Nagato and Konan who were studying seriously, and finally sat down and continued studying. Ever since Kakuzu exposed the cruel reality of the ninja world to the three brats that day, Nagato made a decision. He wanted to learn to make money. As long as he had enough money and enough strength, he would be able to change the ninja world. At Nagato's request, the three kiddies found Kakuzu and said that they wanted to learn to make money from Kakuzu, because they felt that Kakuzu seemed to know a lot. Kakuzu also became interested, so he started teaching them the simplest calculation of accounts. After all, if you don't even know how to settle accounts in business, then you're still doing a crappy business and making crappy money. Nagato could patiently learn things like settling accounts, but Yahiko couldn't. He was an active character, so letting him sit there and figure things out would kill him. Fate. It's okay Yahiko, just leave this kind of thing to me and Konan from now on. You can continue to be responsible for becoming a powerful ninja, so that you can protect us. Nagato looked at Yahiko who was a little depressed and couldn't help but comfort him. Nagato. Yahiko was very touched, he was indeed his good brother. However, he looked back at Kakuzu with a smirk on his face, as if he had decided that he couldn't do it, and couldn't help but curl his lips and snorted. Hey, isn't it just about learning to settle accounts? I can definitely do it. Don't worry Nagato, the three of us are one, no one should leave the other behind. Yahiko. Looking at Yahiko who was serious, Nagato nodded solemnly. Then Yahiko started the painful arithmetic study again. I really didn't expect you, Kakuzu, to become a teacher in a place like this. Boss. Hearing the familiar voice, Kakuzu stood up and looked towards the door. Tetsuya and Izuna walked into the room without even pretending to be refugees. The reason is very simple. Most of the capable people in Rain Shinobi Village have gone out to fight. There is really a big difference in strength between the ninjas who stayed in Rain Shinobi Village and Tetsuya. A simple genjutsu, they just walked in without anyone thinking there was anything wrong. Jai, who walked into the room, looked curiously at the three children sitting in front of the table. It's really interesting. I didn't expect to meet the three of them here. What's wrong? Do you know the three of them? Izuna cast a questioning look. The three little ones sitting in the room also cast curious glances. Tetsuya smiled. No, I was just a little surprised. I didn't expect to meet three children here in Kakuzu. Yahiko stood up curiously and asked. Big brother, are you the boss of this bad uncle? Why do you look so much younger than him? Kakuzu couldn't help but twitch his eyelids. This kid's mouth is really vicious. Tetsuya smiled. Yes, I am this uncle's boss, but little brother, why do you call this uncle a bad uncle? Humph, he is a bad uncle to begin with. Yahiko raised his mouth, looking a little unhappy. Seeing Yahiko like this, Tetsuya was more interested in what happened between them. You know, these three people in front of you are the three key figures of the Akatsuki organization in the future, Nagato, Konan, and the future Tendo Chao, Chao Ji. No. It's Pain Tiandeo. In Kakuzu's original destiny, he would also join the Akatsuki organization and become Konan's wallet. Kakuzu, who worked hard all his life to save money, died without spending it. After all, it was all used by Konan to make detonating charms, and then blew up in one go. If Kakuzu knew about this, he would probably have a heart attack. Kakuzu also became interested and started to tell Tetsuya how he was angry with Yahiko. On the side, Izuna kept staring at Nagato. He felt a very familiar aura or chakra or pupil power on Nagato's body. The crimson bangs covered Nagato's eyes. Maybe others didn't find it strange, but for Izuna, who had the eternal Manjiki Sharingan, he could see through what was hidden underneath at a glance. It was a pair of lavender eyes with circles of special patterns. Special eyes? Izuna doesn't know the Rinnegan, but he can feel that these eyes are very special and very close to him. What's going on? Ha ha ha, Kakuzu, you are so bad. After listening to Kakuzu's story, Tetsuya couldn't help laughing. Humph, I just said, this uncle is a bad uncle. Tetsuya looked up and down at Yahiko in front of him. He looked curiously at this rare little sun in the ninja world. In this world, there were three little sun-like people who warmed others in the dark ninja world. One is Yahiko, Nagato's little son, the son of the Akatsuki organization, who warmed the people of the Land of Rain with his actions. Unfortunately, he died in the end because of the old and comatose Hanzo and the old Yin Chuan Danzo, and finally became Pain 6. The Way of Heaven in Paths. One is Minato, Konoha's little son, who warms the people around him, especially Kushina's heart, and finally becomes Konoha's fourth Hokage. It's a pity that it was killed by the plot later. The last one is Naruto. Naruto, who has been discriminated against since childhood, still remains optimistic and cheerful, warming the people around him like a little sun. Hinata, Sasuke, Gaara, etc. have all been warmed by Naruto. You want to become the most powerful ninja in the ninja world, don't you? Yahiko nodded firmly. Yes, I want to become a powerful ninja like Hanzo-sama. Jai nodded, and then took out something from his pocket that he had kept in his hand for a long time. Okay, I'm very energetic. I've given these things to you. What's this? Yahiko curiously took what Tetsuya handed over. These are several books. The covers of the books say chakra refining method, clone technique, substitution technique, and transformation technique respectively. That's right, what Tetsuya gave was the most basic method of refining chakra, as well as the basic three-body technique. These things are the basis for becoming a ninja, but they are not easily available to ordinary people. Chapter 56. Death is enough. This Do you really want to give these to us? Yahiko's eyes lit up as he looked at the chakra refining method and the three-body technique in his hand. Although he has been clamoring to become the strongest ninja, in fact he has no way to become a ninja. But now this big brother who met for the first time gave them the chakra refining method and ninjutsu. Of course, he did not forget his little friend and distributed the books in his hand. After receiving the book from Yahiko, even Nagato and Konan were a little excited. The moment Nagato took the book, Tetsuya carefully observed Nagato's condition, and after confirming that there was nothing abnormal, he smiled and said, "Of course, I never regret what I say." Izuna came to Tetsuya's side and spoke in a voice that only the two of them could hear. "Have you noticed? The kid named Nagato has something wrong with his eyes. I noticed that, if nothing else, those eyes should be the final product of your eye's evolution, the reincarnation eyes." Reincarnation eye. Even Izuna, who has always been very calm, couldn't help but change his expression when he heard the name, but he quickly returned to normal. "Are you sure?" "I'm sure. I can resurrect the dead. What's wrong with my eyes? This child is from Uchiha." In Izuna's knowledge, only the Sharingan of their Uchiha clan can evolve into the Rinnegan. This child has the Samsara eye, doesn't that mean this child is from the Uchiha clan? No. Something doesn't seem right. It's okay, this child is too young. According to my own personal experience, it will take several years for my eyes to evolve into Samsara eyes. Not to mention, before that, 1 pair of eternal Mangeki, 1 pair of eternal Mangeki, and 2 pairs of Mangeki Sharingan are needed. How old is this child? At his age, even if he opened a San Magatama, he would be a genius among geniuses. He would definitely be strictly protected and carefully cultivated by Uchiha. Not to mention sacrificing a pair of Mangeki to achieve the eternal Mangeki. No, this child's eyes are probably not his own. With his appearance, I think he looks more like a member of the Uzumaki clan. During the melee of the Warring States period, the Senju clan had teamed up with the Uzumaki clan to fight against their Uchiha, so he was particularly impressed by this red hair. As expected of you, Izuna, I think so too. After all, this is the only reasonable explanation, isn't it? But Izuna quickly thought of many things. It's been a long time since the Uchiha clan had an eternal Mangeki. He had investigated before, and it seems that the strongest among the Uchiha clan in Konoha is the 3 Megatama. So, looking at it, the owner of the eternal Mangeki Sharingan who can successfully evolve the Samsara eye can only be that one person. His older brother, Uchiha Madara, a ninja Shura who merged with his own eyes. Thinking of this, Izuna's heart beat faster. My brother's eyes. Those are my brother's eyes. That's right. No wonder I feel inexplicably close to this child. It would be right if his eyes were those of my brother Uchiha Madara. But why would his brother's eyes be on this child? Thinking again, Izuna came up with an answer. Perhaps his brother finally completed the evolution of the Samsara eye when his longevity was approaching. But at that time, he could no longer use these eyes, so he found this child. This child might have something special that could support these eyes, so he gave his eyes to him before he died. Reasonable, very reasonable, it must be like this. Izuna spoke again. Tetsuya, these eyes are probably those of my brother Uchiha Madara. The moment he heard this, Tetsuya's eyes widened and he looked at Uchiha Izuna in disbelief. I'm sorry. No, I've read the script, so I know who has these eyes. How did you come from it? It's not you, Uchiha Izuna. How did a person who has been dead for many years and was resurrected by himself know this? Did you read the script? Or did the old man from 6 Paths read it for you in the Pure Land? Seeing Tetsuya's expression, Izuna thought Tsuyu didn't believe what he said, so he told Tsuyu his reasoning process. After listening, Zhe was speechless. I can only say that you are worthy of being Uchiha Izuna. You are worthy of being the external brain of Uchiha Madara, a being who can compete with the scheming Tobirama. He could actually deduce the correct answer in such a short period of time with almost no clues. He could only say that he admired him, but he couldn't be more impressed. So, what are you going to do? Get your brother's eyes back. Tetsuya was a little curious about what Izuna would do next. You must know that at this time, Uchiha Madara is not dead yet, just sleeping. Moreover, he definitely sent White Zetsu to monitor Nagato and the others. But it should not be attached to Nagato. After all, he had Sage Jutsu Chakra attached to the 3 books he just gave to Yahiko and the others. If there are white Zetsu spores on their bodies that are watching them, then the power of the Sage Jutsu Chakra will force them out and reveal their true colors. If Izuna chooses to take away the reincarnation eye at this time, it will be great fun. I want to accept him as a disciple. What? This decision of Izuna is really surprising. He originally thought that he would take away the Rinnegan of the full-length gate. After all, he owns half of these eyes. After all, Uchiha Madara is the eternal Mangeki who was awakened only after fusion with Izuna's Mangeki. Therefore, even if Izuna wants to take away Rinnegan Tetsu, he still supports it. Besides, the Samsara eye is like a light bulb, plugged in and used. But in the end, Izuna suddenly said that she wanted to take Nagato as a disciple? Are you planning to take Jiraiya's job? Ward Fa? What's going on? I said, I want to accept this kid named Nagato as my disciple. Boss, do you have any opinions? Izuna looked at Tetsuya solemnly and changed his name from Tetsuya to Boss. This shows that Izuna's attitude is very determined. What else can he say if he is like this? You decide for yourself, but what are you going to do if they don't agree? No, he will agree. While the three children were looking through the books in their hands with great interest, Izuna took a step forward, knelt down, and spoke to Nagato. Your name is Nagato, right? Nagato was a little confused. He didn't understand what the big brother in front of him was going to do, but he still nodded. Yes, big brother, do you have any questions? Izuna glanced at the clone jutsu book in his hand. Do you want to learn ninjutsu? Want to become a ninja? Nagato nodded honestly. Well, I want to accept you as my disciple. I can teach you and make you an excellent ninja, so are you willing to become my disciple? Chapter 57. Before Nagato could answer, Yahiko came forward and asked excitedly. Really? Big brother, are you also a ninja? Kakuzu, who had been dealt with by Izuna several times, said with emotion. Of course. Boss Izuna is definitely the strongest person in the world. Really or not? I want to listen to you, big brother, and I won't listen to the bad uncle. You brat, believe it or not. Izuna nodded and simply answered. I'm strong. Really? Yahiko is a little curious about how strong Izuna is. Is big brother as strong as Hanzo-sama? Hearing Yahiko ask this, Tetsuya was happy. Well, how about I just let Izuna prove it to you? Prove it to us? How to prove it? The three little ones were a little curious about how the other party wanted to prove it. Let Izuna compete with Sancho Hanzo to see who is stronger. Alas! Asterisk 3. The three little ones let out an exclamation. The big brother in front of them was going to compete with Master Hanzo. This is not good. Hanzo-sama is still fighting, and Hanzo-sama is super powerful. If you are not careful, someone will die. Big brother is a good person, and we don't want to see you have any accidents. Izuna waved her hand. Don't worry, I have my own sense of discretion, and I came here originally for Hanzo the Sancho fish. As expected, I told you that Boss Izuna came all the way here because he definitely didn't want to travel to a humid place like the Land of Rain. Kakuzu looked like that. Okay, let's set off without further ado. We've already inquired about it when we arrived. The decisive battle between Konoha and Omegakure village is about to begin. We can just go and join in the fun. Tetsuya looked like he was just watching the fun and not taking it too seriously. So, Kakuzu, you should be able to protect these three little guys on the battlefield, right? It's really a troublesome task, but since it's a task assigned by the boss, I don't have any problem. Then let's set off. As Izuna walked towards the door, he looked back at Nagato. I will show you how powerful I am. Let me teach the successor of your brother's eyes, and I, Uchiha Izuna, will train him to become a powerful ninja like his brother. The three of them, Nagato, were still a little confused, so they were led to the battlefield by Tetsuya and the others in a daze. In the Kingdom of Rain, on the battlefield between Konoha and Rain Shinobi, ninjas from both sides fight together. A heavy downpour fell from the sky, and the continuous heavy rain washed away the corpses and bloodstains on the ground. In one part of the battlefield, the ninjas from both sides had a tacit understanding to avoid an area. That area was the area where the two sides would fight with the highest combat power. The three disciples of Konoha's third Hokage fought against the leader of Omegakure village, Sancho Hanzo. The battle has gone on for several rounds, and the three Tsunade men relied on their numerical advantage to barely suppress the weak Sancho Hanzo. However, even at this moment, there was still no trace of panic in Sancho Hanzo's eyes. Cry Yusai. Psychic technique. After repelling the three Jiraiya's with a sickle, Hanzo Sanshouiu quickly formed a seal and slammed it onto the ground. In just an instant, a huge array appeared on the ground. Bang! There was a muffled sound, and white mist rose everywhere. That's right. Jiraiya, who was gasping for air, immediately widened his eyes when he saw the huge figure appearing in the white mist. When the white mist dissipated, and a giant mountain pepperfish appeared in front of them. Here is Sancho Hanzo's psychic beast. With the cooperation of this psychic beast, his Sancho Hanzo's strength is complete. Standing on top of Sanchoyu's head, Sanchoyu Hanzo crossed his arms and looked down at the three people below. Swish swish! Suddenly, several kunao were thrown out, and there was actually a detonating charm tied to the end of the kunao. Sanchoyu took action, and it was something like a detonating talisman kunao. Tsunade, Orochimaru, get out of the way! Jiraiya shouted, reminding his teammates to avoid it. The three of them jumped up and jumped away in different directions. The detonating talisman kunao accurately hit the location where the three of them had just landed. Bang! 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 The horrific explosion caused an impact, and several deep craters were blown out of the ground. Smoke spread everywhere, and the three people were scattered in different locations in the smoke. This is what Sancho Fish Hanzo wants. Now, fire style. Detonate the flame formation. What? Tsunade felt as if something was crawling up her feet. When she lowered her head, she saw that it was actually the bullying detonation talisman attached to it. Be careful, Tsunade! Jiraiya reacted immediately. Ninjutsu, Needle Jizo. The long hair danced, and Jiraiya's hair was thrown out. The white hair stretched like a tentacle, and directly rolled up Tsunade to protect it. Boom boom boom! At the same time, the detonator spontaneously ignited and exploded. The explosion produced flames, which directly engulfed Ran. Oh! Sanchoyu Hanzo sneered, how could his hair be able to block the flames of the detonating talisman? However, the flames dissipated, and both Tsunade and Jiraiya were fine. Apparently the Sanchoyu underestimated Jiraiya's ninjutsu, and how could Jizo's enhanced hair be ordinary hair? Nani? Latent Shadow Snake Hand. Just when Hanzo was surprised, Orochimaru was already lurking in the dark, waiting for an opportunity to take action. Several big snakes with white scales rushed over and directly wrapped and tied Sancho Hanzo. That's right now, Jiraiya! Orochimaru shouted. As a teammate, Jiraiya naturally understood. I know, ninja technique, hair needle senbon. In an instant, Jiraiya's long white hair exploded, shooting out a large amount of hair like a hedgehog spraying spikes. These hairs shot towards the restrained Sancho Hanzo like the senbon needles used by ninjas. Seeing the ninjutsu bursting in, Sanchoyu Hanzo didn't react much, he just activated the ninjutsu silently. The art of water teleportation. Wow! The moment ninjutsu was activated, Sancho Hanzo, together with the hill-like Sancho fish at his feet, turned into flowing water and dissipated, and then reappeared in another location in an instant. What? Orochimaru was a little surprised when he saw this scene, and immediately retreated to join Tsunade and Jiraiya. And Jiraiya dispersed the needle Jizo ninjutsu, and a feeling of weakness suddenly came over him. It's okay, Jiraiya. I'm okay. This level of burn is not serious, but the previous battle was a bit exhausting. After all, it took a lot of effort for the three of them to force Sanchoyu Hanzo to use his psychic abilities. This guy is so strong, even our combination ninjutsu can't do anything to him. Orochimaru sighed with emotion. The three of them have not yet reached their peak period. Tsunade has not yet developed the Baihao Jutsu, Jiraiya has not yet learned Sage Jutsu, and Orochimaru has not yet started various transformations. At this time, they faced Sancho Hanzo in his prime, and the fight was really difficult. The three of them were about to reach their limit, but Sancho Hanzo seemed to be able to continue. Fighting. Chapter 58. Is this the end of it? Jiraiya looked unwillingly at Hanzo the Sancho fish and the huge Sancho fish psychic beast in front of him. The three of them panted violently. If the three of them could not defeat Sancho Hanzo, what would happen in this war? It seems that Konoha has the advantage in the overall situation. However, at this moment, Sanchoyu Hanzo spoke. I'm afraid Konoha has won this war, so I'll let you live. Hearing such mocking words, the stunned Jiraiya yelled unwillingly. I don't need your sympathy, we can still fight, Just come here. Stop talking, Jiraiya. Although Tsunade was also surprised that Sanshou Hanzo actually planned to let them go, when she saw that Jiraiya still wanted to fight, she quickly shouted to stop Jiraiya. Sanshou Hanzo ignored Jiraiya and just continued. You three are very powerful, and you are able to persevere in this situation. From now on, I, Hanzo the Sanshou, will call you Konoha Sunin. From now on, you can call yourself the title you paid for with your life. Hateful. Jiraiya gritted his teeth, he was unwilling to give in, but the enemy in front of him was very powerful. At this moment, two figures fell from the sky and appeared in the center of the battlefield. Hello. Who? At this moment, both Sanshou Hanzo and Jiraiya became extremely nervous. This could all be over, but why did two people suddenly run out? The two men were wearing red and black robes, and one was wearing a yellow whirlpool mask, with only one eye exposed in the whirlpool. The other person is wearing a white mask, with circles of patterns and 3 megatama carved on it. A pair of eyes are exposed from the 2 megatama at the bottom. Ah! Are you asking me what my name is? My name is Afei. Tetsuya is possessed by drama, he raised his hands and waved as if he was attending a fan meeting. As for the person behind me, his name should be familiar to you. He is Uchiha Madara. Uchiha Madara. That person is Uchiha Madara? How is that possible? He can't be Uchiha Madara. Uchiha Madara was killed by my grandfather in the Valley of the End. Tsunade's eyes widened with disbelief written all over them. However, when Tsunade said that Uchiha Madara was killed by her grandfather, Izuna, who had originally focused all her attention on Sanshou Hanzo, suddenly turned around and stared straight at Tsunade with her pair of scarlet eternal Mangeki Sharingan. At that moment, Tsunade actually felt the threat of death, and the naked murderous intention was as terrifying as a knife. Tsunade, what's wrong with you? Feeling Tsunade's hand holding him tremble, Jiraiya quickly asked Tsunade what was wrong. Jiraiya, that guy's eyes. Those are Uchiha Madara's eyes. As the disciples of Hiruzen Sarutobi of the third Hokage, they naturally recognized that pair of eyes at a glance, the eternal Mangeki Sharingan, eyes that were regarded as ominous by the Senju Tobirama lineage. Could it be that that guy is really Uchiha Madara? Uchiha Madara is really not dead yet. Not likely. There must be something wrong with that guy. Oh my, Senior Uchiha Madara, you are the great Shura of the ninja world, how can you get angry with a junior? Let's get down to business. Tetsuya also felt Izuna's sudden burst of murderous intent. One can only say that he is worthy of being an Uchiha. He is really good at brother control. Tsunade's words aroused Izuna's murderous intent. Fortunately, Izuna was still rational. After being reminded by Tetsuya, he changed his target again. However, when he looked at Salamander Hanzo again this time, his eyes were even sharper. Hanzo Salamander, you are the one who calls yourself the demigod of the ninja world, right? I came here today to test you, why do you dare to call yourself a demigod? Salamander Hanzo also lost his temper. He was planning to stop and end the fight, but this guy dared to question him. Humph, you are such a coward that you don't even dare to reveal your true appearance. What qualifications do you have to question me? Humph, whether I am qualified or not, you will know if you try it yourself. Izuna quickly formed a seal. Fire style, great fire extinguishment. The terrifying fire style was released, and in an instant, the rain around was directly evaporated, and the terrifying flames turned into a sea of fire and swept towards the Salamander Hanzo. How is this possible? How can a fire style of this level exist? Salamander Hanzo widened his eyes, but at this moment he could only use the instant body movement technique again. Everyone present saw it transform into a stream of water and carry the salamander, barely avoiding the terrifying fire style. This move put out the raging fire, and the ground that was originally soaked by the heavy rain was directly scorched dry and cracked. Seeing that Hanzo had dodged his ninjutsu, Izuna naturally couldn't just sit there and watch. He also activated the instant body technique and came directly to the top of the salamander's head, pulling out a ninjutsu from his sleeve. The knife slashed towards the Salamander Hanzo. Salamander Hanzo hurriedly waved the sickle and chain in his hand to resist, and the two began to fight with physical skills. Jiraiya, who was still doubting whether the masked man was Uchiha Madara, suddenly believed that this man was Uchiha Madara. After all, even their teacher Sarutobi Hiruzen could not do this level of fire style. Bar. However, in shock, Jiraiya asked his two companions. Tsunade, Orochimaru, what should we do next? This guy, whether he is Uchiha Madara or not, is not something we can easily deal with. Orochimaru stared at the back of Uchiha Madara and answered in his unique hoarse voice. I think maybe we can wait and let them fight each other, and then we can reap the benefits. However, Tsunade shook her head and gave a completely opposite suggestion to Orochimaru. I think we should take this opportunity to retreat. We have already won this battle. Except for Hanzo, the rest of Rain Shinobi has been defeated. We should take advantage of Hanzo being held back. End the battle. And the most crucial point is that no matter whether this masked man is Uchiha Madara or not, we must pass the message back. Hey, I'm talking to you three. Zhe also folded his hands and tilted his head to look at the three people. What are you guys talking about here? Can't you see that Madara-senpai is having an intense fight with that fellow salamander? As an audience, please be more professional. What on earth do you want to do, UBD? Jiraiya questioned loudly. Oh, you are so rude. I won't call you that guy. I have a name. My name is Afe. Zhe also twisted his body, like a person with ADHD. Jiraiya and the other two exchanged glances and came to the conclusion that this funny-looking guy was definitely not simple. Chapter 59. What on earth do you want to do? What's the ulterior purpose of wearing masks? Jiraiya asked loudly. Tetsuya looked back at the direction of Izuna, who was having a heated fight with Sancho Hanzo. It can be seen that Izuna vented all his anger on Sanyo Hanzo. Holding the short sword and relying on his physical skills to suppress Sanyo Hanzo, he was miserable. Not using ninjutsu and only using taijutsu is like using Sancho Hanzo as a punching bag to vent his dissatisfaction. Sancho Hanzo is also a master of physical arts. As the saying goes, the weirder the weapon, the faster it seems. No, the weirder the weapon, the more dangerous the moves. Unusual weapons often give people a feeling of being difficult to defend. The weapon used by Sancho Hanzo is a sickle connected to a chain. This weapon can be used as a hard weapon when holding the sickle, and it can be used as a soft weapon when holding the chain. The attack range can be far or near. However, no matter how weird Hanzo's weapons are or how dangerous his moves are, it's not a problem in front of Izuna. The super dynamic vision brought by Sharingan can see through all the little moves of Sancho Hanzo. Looking back, Tetsuya tilted his head. Ah, haven't I told you our purpose? I remember what I said, we are here for Hanzo the Sancho fish. Upon hearing this, Tsunade spoke hurriedly. Since you are here for Sancho fish Hanzo, can we leave here? Of course, no problem. Hearing that Tetsuya agreed to let them leave, Jiraiya was a little surprised, Tsunade was a little surprised, and Orochimaru felt that things were not that simple. Sure enough, just as he thought, Jia continued to speak. If you want to leave, just leave. Just don't disturb me watching the show. I suggest that you'd better withdraw your troops and leave the country of Rain as soon as possible. The war between Konoha village and Rain Hidden village should also be over. You understand me? I mean. Jiraiya was still a little dissatisfied. This is a matter between our country of fire and the country of rain. Why should you decide it? Hearing Jiraiya say this, Tetsuya couldn't help but shook his head. Not Jiraiya, is this your line? Is this what you should say? Shouldn't you be happy to be able to stop the war? Isn't your ideal the peace of the ninja world? Tisk, 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 why do you ask me? As he spoke, Tetsuya's pupils turned into blood. In the blood-red pupils, 3 Megatama quickly rotated and then turned into a special pattern, and at the same time, an astonishing chakra aura erupted from his body. Just because I can save the lives of everyone on this battlefield forever, do you think this is enough? This. Sunin couldn't help but tremble all over when he saw the monstrous chakra in front of him, as if his soul was trembling with fear. The gap is really too big. They feel that there is an insurmountable gap between themselves and the masked man named Afei in front of them. This feeling was something they had never felt even when facing their teacher Hiruzen Sarutobi. But soon Tetsuya restrained his chakra and responded with that humorous tone. Oh my, look at how scared you are, don't be afraid, I can't eat people, do you understand that it will be easier for everyone to leave now and end the war? Besides, what my Madara senior wants is just to compete with Sancho Hanzo without killing him. When we leave, do you think Sancho Hanzo will do what he received today? Who should I vent my shame on? As soon as these words came out, Sunin also felt a little numb. They don't have much physical strength now. If these two mysterious masked men leave later, won't they become the targets of Hanzo Sanshouayu? It was extremely difficult for them to fight Sancho Hanzo before, but now they faced the furious Sancho Hanzo again. We understand. Thank you for reminding us. We will go back and tell the higher UPS in Konoha to end this war. That's right. Ending the war as soon as possible will be beneficial to you. Do you understand, Tsunade? Tetsuya glanced at Tsunade meaningfully. You must know that Tsunade has a boyfriend now, and if Tetsuya remembers correctly, Tsunade's boyfriend Kato Takashi? No, Kato Dan died after their son in battle with Sanshouayu, and the war was almost over at that time. But Kato Dan, the unlucky young man, still died in an insignificant conflict, and his death was particularly miserable, and Tsunade also suffered from anemia. However, Tsunade obviously did not hear Tetsuya's hint. What he was thinking was that Konoha had already taken advantage of it. If he took the initiative to stop the war now, Konoha would even take advantage of the last great cause. Whether it is for the subsequent negotiations or for Konoha's future image, it is excellent. I understand, then let's take our leave first. Come on, don't disturb me watching the show. After waving his hand, Tetsuya turned around and continued watching the show. Seeing Tetsuya just turning around, Orochimaru suddenly felt an urge to attack this guy now and take away his eyes. But he soon suppressed his thoughts. What was he doing? Doing so would undoubtedly lead to death. Not to mention that there is not much chakra left in his body, and the opponent is extremely powerful. Even when he is at his peak, there is no guarantee that he can kill the opponent in one sneak attack. Let's go back to the station first. Orochimaru reminded Tsunade and Jiraiya in a hoarse voice, and also reminded himself. Sunin left quickly and at the same time notified other Konoha ninjas to evacuate. Fire style. The fire is extinguished. Izuna's anger was almost vented, and he didn't intend to waste any more time. Defeat Sancho Hanzo, the so-called ninja demigod, earlier, and then go back and accept Nagato as his disciple. But it seems that Nagato likes to stay with the other two brats, so he will accept the other two as his disciples. After thinking so much, in just a split second, the ferocious fire-style ninjutsu was released instantly. Seeing this, Sancho Hanzo also activated his own ninjutsu. Water-style. Waterfall technique. Sancho Hanzo also activated ninjutsu to counter Izuna's fire style. The violent water flow gathered together and turned into a huge water column, rushing straight towards the scorching flames. Pfft! The flames and water columns collided together, instantly releasing a large amount of water vapor, and the entire battlefield was enveloped in just a breath. This water vapor is extremely hot. If an unprotected person comes into contact with this water vapor, they will be steamed in an instant. Oh my, what a big scene! Jai continued to use the teleportation technique and retreated out of the range of the steam. Although he wasn't afraid of the steam, he didn't like getting wet. Chapter 60. Fire style. The art of singing with dragon flames. Water style. Water turbulence. Another wave of ninjutsu duel, the two of them seemed to never run out of chakra. Damn, how can this guy be so strong? Is he really the legendary Uchiha Madara? Sancho Hanzo was already a little weak at the moment. Although he won the previous battle with Sunin, he still consumed some chakra. But the guy in front of him is obviously not on the same level as those three people. As we all know, under normal circumstances, water style can suppress fire style. After all, the second Hokage of Konoha trained himself as a water style master in order to target the Uchiha clan who were good at fire style. But this masked monster was actually able to use fire style to suppress his water style. No, continuing like this is not an option. Ibushi, poisonous mist spray. Hanzo shouted loudly, and not far away Sanshou Yuefu, who was waiting for Hanzo's order, opened his big mouth, and in an instant, a large amount of purple poisonous mist was spewed into the air. When Izuna saw this, he immediately ran away. Where to run? Sanshou Hanzo used a water teleportation technique and came to Izuna. He threw out the chain from his hand and instantly wrapped it around Izuna's body. Chong Lang. The other hand held the scythe and slashed at Izuna. Hee. Facing Sancho Hanzo's attack, Izuna sneered twice. Susanna. Click. The blue Susanna skeleton emerged, directly breaking Sancho Hanzo's chain. Immediately afterwards, Susanna's skeleton expanded rapidly and turned into a half-length Susan, who directly slashed at Hanzo the Sanshouayu. What is this? Sancho Hanzo's eyes widened, but as a ninja, he immediately activated the water teleportation technique to avoid Izuna Suzanu's sword. Sancho Hanzo, who escaped the attack, came to the top of Sancho Ibushi's head. Is this the legendary power of God that resides in the Sharingan of the Uchiha clan? Looking at the blue Susanoo in front of him, Sancho Hanzo was under great pressure. The blue giant just stood there, motionless despite the poisonous mist spitted out by Sanchao Yujingfu. However, these poisonous mist couldn't do anything to the masked man standing in Susanoo. Is this all the strength of your Sanchao Ayu Hanzo? It's nothing more than that. How dare you be called a ninja demigod? Izuna opened her arms and her eyes were scarlet. Let me show you what the true power of God is. Complete Susanoo, open. Boom. Half-length Susanoo changed again, just like a giant stood up, and the earth shook. The complete form of Susanoo appears, a huge blue giant wearing armor, with wings on his back, wearing a Tengu mask on his face, and holding a huge tachi, which is full of oppression. Everyone in Konoha who was evacuating saw the huge Susanoo, and the older ones directly recalled the fear in the past, and the source of that fear was named Uchiha Madara. It's so domineering. The Susanoo is blue. Why is mine gold? It looks so tacky. Tetsuya, who was watching, murmured to himself that it must be the good deeds of that money-grubbing dog. He might have thought that gold was the color of gold, so he gave himself a golden Susanoo. Sanchao Ayu Hanzo, come on, take my blow. If you are still alive after this, I will recognize the title of Ninja World Demigod. As soon as he finished speaking, the huge perfect Susanoo slashed directly at Sanyo Hanzo and his psychic beast Sanyo Ibushi. With this knife, the mountain peaks were cut into plains, and the flat bottoms became canyons. This sword is destined to cause an even more violent storm in the already restless ninja world. Well, Izuna won't kill the Sanchao Ayu with one knife this time, right? Now is not a good time to take over the rain country. Susanoo dispersed, and several Izuna teleport to Tetsuya's side. It's over, let's go back. Well, you wouldn't just chop Hanzo to death, would you? No, I controlled the power. That guy twice used his psychic beast to bear the attack for himself at critical moments. That's it, as long as you're not dead, it's not the time for us to take over the Kingdom of Rain yet. I know, let's go, it's time to find my disciples. Tisk, 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 look at you, I haven't become a disciple yet, and you are one of your disciples. Tetsuya smiled, but still followed Izuna in the direction of Kakuzu and the others. Not far from the battlefield, in a safe corner, Kakuzu and 3 imps watched the 3 people fighting Hanzo and Izuna fighting Hanzo. At this moment, the 3 little guys were so excited that they were speechless. Especially when the blue giant appeared, Yahiko had completely become Izuna's little fanboy. There is no way, he is so handsome, and there is that little boy who can reject such a handsome giant. Not only is he handsome, but he is also so powerful. Even if someone as strong as Hanzo was in charge, it would only be a matter of one blow. We're back. Tetsuya smiled and took off his mask, and Izuna also walked up to the 3 of them with a white mask. How is it? Am I strong? Yahiko said excitedly. Brother, you are so awesome. What's going on with that blue giant? Is it ninjutsu? Can I learn it? Izuna was silent for a moment and then shook her head. That's not ninjutsu, it's an ability unique to our family. Ah, so that's it. Yahiko was a little disappointed, but he was still very excited. After all, even if he couldn't summon the blue giant, it would be very powerful if he could learn ninjutsu. And Izuna also looked at Nagato and asked. What about Nagato? Are you willing to worship me as your teacher and become my disciple? Apart from Susanoo, I can teach you any kind of ninjutsu you want to learn. Nagato, please agree. Yes, Nagato, agree. Yahiko urged somewhat obediently, and even Xylan was helping. After all, she also wants to become a ninja, and she also wants to protect Yahiko and Nagato. However, Nagato opened his mouth and said. Brother Izuna, if I learn ninjutsu from you, can I continue to learn how to make money? As soon as these words came out, Izuna was stunned for a moment, and then he looked at Kakuzu. Kakuzu turned his head away, not daring to look at Izuna. Ha ha ha, of course, why not? Tetsuya couldn't help but burst into laughter. He couldn't help it, it was really interesting. Unexpectedly, Nagato, a kid who stayed with Angle for a long time, also fell in love with making money. No, it probably wasn't that he fell in love with making money, but that he understood that if he wanted to change the land of rain and the ninja world, force alone would not work. He also had to have money and understand economics. Okay Nagato, you three will follow us from now on. Izuna will teach you how to practice ninjutsu, and I will teach you how to make money. Really? Chapter 61. Although there was a small episode on the battlefield at Rain Shinobi Village due to the intervention of two masked men, this did not affect the outcome of the war. Konoha has won victories on many battlefields, and the overall trend of the Ninja World War has tilted towards Konoha. At the same time, with the outbreak of this battle, the name of Uchiha Madara reappeared in the ninja world, causing a great sensation. Konoha, Hokage Building Conference Room. Konoha F4 gathered together, and sitting opposite them was Sunin, who became famous in this ninja world war. In order to pass the information back, the three of them broke away from the large army and took the lead in returning to Konoha with the information. The above is everything we encountered on the Rain Shinobi battlefield. The atmosphere in the conference room seemed particularly depressing at this moment. Uchiha Madara, Uchiha Afei. Sarutobi Hiruzen muttered these two names, and he didn't care too much about the one named Abi at the back, although Jiraiya and the others said that this person was very powerful, as well as Mangeki Sharingan. But having never seen it in person and felt that sense of oppression, Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't think how strong this Afei was. He only felt that his three students were too young. But Uchiha Madara is different. This name represents too many things. Shura of the ninja world, the founder of Konoha village, the leader of the Uchiha clan, the most powerful rebellious ninja since the founding of Konoha village. Sarutobi Hiruzen felt extremely stressed and wanted to take a puff of a cigarette, but found that his cigarette rod was not at hand. He had to look at his old friends. Danzo, Tsubaki, and En, what do you think? Before Koharu and Mito Manabu decided how to talk, Shimura Danzo snorted coldly. What are you looking at? Uchiha Madara is dead a long time ago. It was solved by the first generation himself. Do you still dare to question the first Hokage? It must be the evil Uchiha clan who is responsible for it. He is obviously with the village. When he went to conquer the land of rain, he actually asked someone to come out and pretend to be Uchiha Madara. Hiruzen, the ambition of the Uchiha clan has been revealed. They just want to pretend that Uchiha Madara is still alive, and then look for opportunities to seize the position of Hokage to rule Konoha. We must punish the Uchiha clan. Danzo Shimura spoke with certainty, as if the truth of everything was what he said. There is no Uchiha Madara at all, everything is a conspiracy of the Uchiha clan, and their goal is the position of Hokage. Sarutobi Hiruzen did not respond to Shimura Danzo immediately. He knew very well what kind of character his old friend was. Whether it was the Uchiha clan or not, he would put his hat on it first. Obviously before, among the teacher's disciples, Uchiha Kagami had the best relationship with him, but after Kagami's death, Danzo began to crazily target the Uchiha clan. Although targeting Uchiha was the strategy left by their teacher, Danzo was a little too extreme. Xiao-chun, Yan, what do you think? The old BD Mito minion said. Hiruzen, I also think Danzo is right. Uchiha Madara is dead. Go to bed. Koharu also nodded. There was nothing they could do, after all, they had never seen it with their own eyes, they had only heard what Sunin said and read some intelligence passed back from the front line. Seeing that these guys didn't believe they had met Uchiha Madara, Jiraiya slapped his hands on the table, stood up and said eagerly. But old man, we really didn't lie. That guy was really Uchiha Madara. He summoned the complete Susanoo, and defeated the Sanyo Hanzo who summoned the psychic beast with one sword. What we said is true, and everyone else on the battlefield also saw the huge blue giant, like a god. Okay, Jiraiya, I know everything. You three have worked hard. Go down and rest first. Konoha still needs you. Sarutobi Hiruzen finally spoke up and asked the three of them to leave first to rest. Jiraiya wanted to say something more, but Tsunade held him down. Let's go Jiraiya, let's go rest, the old man and the others have made their own decision. Seeing what Tsunade said, Jiraiya had no choice but to give up. Then, let's leave first and say goodbye to the teacher. Orochimaru stood up, said goodbye and left with the two of them. As the door of the conference room closed, Sarutobi Hiruzen was silent for a while, and finally sighed. Well, there are some things that I couldn't tell you originally, but it seems that I won't be able to tell you at this time. The three of them were a little confused and didn't know what Sarutobi Hiruzen was doing. Shimura Danzo said bluntly. Monkey, if you have anything to say, just say it. Is there anything else you can't tell us? The paddling duo also nodded. They were all old acquaintances and considered themselves to be a unit. They should have nothing to hide from each other. Even the monkey would use a crystal ball to peek into the women's bathhouse. They all know it too. Sarutobi Hiruzen took a deep breath and said. Actually, when the teacher was still alive, he once told me something alone. At that time, the teacher asked me not to tell anyone, not even to you. Hearing this, the paddling duo didn't have much reaction. However, there was a trace of envy, jealousy and complaint in Danzo's eyes. Sure enough, the teacher was partial to Monkey in his heart. Isn't it because I stood up a little late at that time? I am no worse than Monkey. Although he had complicated thoughts in his heart, his face still showed nothing. Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't pay attention to the different emotions that flashed across his old friend's face, and he continued. Do you know how the teacher escaped back then? Go to bed, Koharu replied matter-of-factly. Isn't it true that our teacher was so powerful that he used the Flying Thunder God's technique to severely injure the Golden Horn and Silver Horn and then escaped? This is what Tobirama told them at the beginning. At that time, he did not intend to tell others about the existence of Uchiha Izuna. But today, Sarutobi Hiruzen felt the need to tell them the truth. I'm afraid what Jiraiya and the others said about Uchiha Madara may be true, and the possibility is very high. Monkey, what nonsense are you talking about? Your apprentice lost his head after fighting. Are you also lost? Upon hearing this, Danzo immediately stood up and loudly questioned Sarutobi Hiruzen. However, Sarutobi Hiruzen still looked serious. Danzo, listen to what I have to say. That's right, Danzo, don't get too excited. Let Hiruzen finish his story first. Yes, we are all old friends. There is nothing that cannot be discussed slowly, right? The paddling duo immediately spoke out to persuade and acted as a mediator to calm everyone down. Sarutobi Hiruzen continued. At that time, the teacher asked me to have a conversation, and the content of the conversation was the truth about the teacher's escape from the battlefield. Chapter 62. The Truth. This time, Mitaman and Koharu's expressions became a little less calm. Although they did have doubts before that their teacher's ability to come back alive from that life and death battlefield might have happened because of something they didn't know about. After all, if their teacher could easily defeat the pursuer and escape head-on, then there would be no need. Let them go first, and then stay behind. Of course, it is also possible that their teacher used some kind of secret technique after letting them leave. This secret technique was very powerful and uncontrollable, so they were allowed to leave first. This was also the most reasonable explanation they thought before. After all, after Tobirama came back, his health was very poor, which was very consistent with the sequelae caused by using secret techniques. Monkey, you are saying that there are other reasons why the teacher was able to come back alive. Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded and told the truth that Tobirama asked him to hide. On the battlefield, the teacher stopped Yunying's pursuit force. Although these pursuit troops were all elite ninjas, the gap between them and the teacher was still too big, and they were no match for the teacher. At this moment, Golden Horn and Silver Horn arrived. The two men were armed with 6 paths blades and once forced the teacher into a desperate situation. At this time, Uchiha Izuna, who was killed by the teacher himself, appeared. Uchiha Izuna rescued the teacher and helped the teacher kill Jin Jiao, but after that, Uchiha Izuna disappeared with the captured 6 paths ninja tool. After speaking, the entire conference room fell into silence. Finally, Danzo, who still couldn't believe it, broke the silence. He slapped the table and stood up. Impossible. This is simply impossible. How can a dead person come back to life? Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Danzo who couldn't believe it and said sternly. What? Just like what you said to Jiraiya and the others before, are you questioning Teacher Tobirama? Do you think Teacher Tobirama was lying to me at the beginning? Or do you think I was lying to you? You. What are you? Answer me, Danzo. Okay, we didn't question the teacher or what you meant. That's right, Danzo, please sit down quickly. Snort. Shimura Danzo grunted and sat back in his chair. When Sarutobi Hiruzen saw this, he didn't say anything more, but continued the previous topic. Then the current situation is that there have been resurrected Uchiha tribesmen, and the Uchiha Madara who appears now is very likely to be the real Uchiha Madara. If that person is really Uchiha Madara, then the ninja world may not be peaceful. Depressing, the atmosphere in the conference room was particularly depressing. At this moment, Mito Minion suddenly spoke. If the person who fought Sancho Hanzo was really Uchiha Madara, then who was the masked man named Fei? As soon as this question was raised, everyone had different opinions. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Danzo and asked. According to Jiraiya and the others, the masked man named Fei wears a mask with only one eye, which means he only has one Sharingan. Who do you think that person could be, Danzo? One eye was a Sharingan. Danzo's expression was a little embarrassed when he said this, and his right eye, which was covered with a bandage, seemed to be stinging. At the same time, in the mountain cemetery, in a cave, an old man with grey hair and an aging body who looked like he was about to die was lying on the stone bed. There were tubes connected to his body to maintain his vital signs. At this moment, a pure white creature and a half-white and half-black creature came over. If Tetsuya were here, he would be able to recognize at a glance that this old man is Uchiha Madara, who was all-powerful back then, and the white one is Hakuzetsu, and the half-black and half-white one is Hakuzetsu who was possessed by Black Zetsu. Black Zetsu steps forward and wakes up the sleeping Uchiha Madara. The aging Uchiha Madara opened her eyes. What time is it now? Ju, what happened when you woke me up? Is there something wrong with the Samsara Eye, or the carrier of the Samsara Eye? Or, have you found the right chess piece to start executing the plan? Uchiha Madara sat up and looked up at Black Zetsu and White Zetsu standing in front of him. He felt that he had been asleep for a short time, but he was awakened now. Although Uchiha Madara is now very old, the aura of a strong man is still the same as before. Master Ban, it is now the 39th year of the Ninja Village calendar, and the Second Ninja War is going on in the outside world. The Second Ninja War. Hearing that the Second Ninja War broke out in the ninja world, Uchiha Madara couldn't help but sneered. Haha, Hashirama, is this the peace you long for? It's really ridiculous. It's impossible for people to understand each other. After laughing, Uchiha Madara asked again. So, what happened to wake me up? Black Jew said in a deep voice. Master Ban, someone is doing high-profile things in the ninja world in your name. I'm afraid the news that your ninja Shura Uchiha Madara is still alive has spread throughout the ninja world. Oh? Someone actually dares to act in my name. Yes, that person appeared on the battlefield between Omegakure village and Konoha, and summoned the complete form of Susanoo, defeating Sanyo Hanzo. Complete Susanoo. Uchiha Madara was a little surprised. Could it be said that another genius has appeared in the Uchiha clan? But why does he do things in my name? Is he also dissatisfied with Konoha, or does he have some other ulterior secrets? Please tell me carefully what is going on. Someone is working in the ninja world under his own name, which may have an impact on his plans, but he is also very curious about who he is who dares to pretend to be himself. Heiju told everything he knew, but he didn't know some details. After all, he didn't dare to get too close. Whenever he wanted to get closer, he felt particularly nervous, as if someone was staring at him. It stands to reason that most people cannot discover themselves, unless that guy knows Sage Jutsu. But every time he wanted to get closer, the feeling of being watched would be particularly strong. Uchiha Madara listened quietly. When he heard that the person who called himself Uchiha Madara summoned a perfect blue Susanoo that was almost exactly the same as him, Uchiha Madara also showed a puzzled expression. How is this possible? How can there be a Susanoo who is exactly the same as me? Even if it is similar, it is unlikely. The Susanoo of the Uchiha clan differs from person to person, unless... Suddenly Uchiha Madara thought of something, and he ordered with a serious expression. Heiju, I order you to investigate the guy who claims to be me, do you understand? Give me all the information about him. Chapter 63. The Ninja World War has entered its final stages. Large-scale wars have stopped, but small-scale local conflicts are still ongoing. Compared with these small-scale local conflicts, the news of Uchiha Madara's resurrection will have a greater impact on the major ninja villages. The Land of Thunder, the Hidden Cloud Village. In the conference room, the Third Raikage convened a meeting of the top leaders of the Hidden Cloud Village for discussion. Okay everyone, I'm sure you've all received the news that Uchiha Madara has reappeared in the ninja world. The purpose of calling everyone to this meeting is to listen to your opinions on how our Hidden Cloud Village should go in the future. 2. If you have anything to say, just say it. You know I don't like beating around the bush. The still young Tutai spoke after some thought. Master Raikage, is it possible that this incident was a smokescreen released by Konoha? What do you mean? Speak more clearly. Sir Raikage, here's what happened. The intelligence says that the guy who claims to be Uchiha Madara wears a mask, and no one has ever seen his face. So whether this guy is Uchiha Madara is still a question mark and cannot be confirmed. I think this might be some conspiracy of Konoha. It is possible that they found a member of the Uchiha clan to disguise as Uchiha Madara, in order to achieve their own goals while intimidating other ninja villages. As soon as these words came out, other senior executives immediately expressed different opinions. I think there is such a possibility, but it is not very likely. You know, ever since the second Hokage Senju Tobirama, that old fox, became Hokage, the relationship between the Uchiha clan and Konoha has been very delicate. Unless it is something like the Ninja World War that concerns the entire ninja world, the Konoha high-level officials cannot command the Uchiha. As everyone in the ninja world has seen this time, at the very beginning, the Uchiha clan acted completely alone and were active on the battlefield outside of Konoha's main force. But if this person is not someone else in disguise, is he really Uchiha Madara? Isn't he dead? How can someone who has been dead for a long time be resurrected? During this period, impure world reincarnation had not yet been fully developed. Although second Hokage Senju Tobirama developed this technique, it was not perfect enough. Sarutobi Hiruzen and others also felt that the living should not disturb the dead, so no one tried it. This technique is so popular that the ninjas in the ninja world think that the resurrection of the dead is just a fantasy. In the Raikage's office, everyone started arguing. The people in the Hidden Cloud village were relatively direct and even a little irritable. They spoke a little loudly at first, and then slowly started to quarrel. There's no way, this matter is really too weird. Uchiha Madara, the Shura of the ninja world who had died many years ago, has been resurrected. You say he is real, which is illogical, but if he is not real, there are doubts in all aspects. That's enough. Suddenly the Raikage shouted, and the conference room instantly fell silent. Everyone who was about to start elbowing each other sat back in their seats, confusion and bewilderment written all over their faces. What on earth was going on? I called you here to ask you about the future of the Hidden Cloud village, not to ask you to argue about whether that Uchiha Madara is the real Uchiha Madara. However, Raikage did not mean to blame them. After all, the existence of Uchiha Madara was too special in the entire ninja world. Finally, after careful consideration, the think tank Tutai said. Master Raikage, I think that no matter whether that person is Uchiha Madara or not, no matter whether that guy is a conspiracy arranged by Konoha or not, the most important thing we should do now is to improve the strength of our Hidden Cloud village. After hearing Tutai's words, the senior executives of Union nodded in approval. There is something wrong with what he said. As long as your fist is strong enough, no matter what conspiracy or tricks the enemy has, as long as they dare to come, you can break them with one punch. You are right. We, Union, have just escaped from the quagmire of war. We should recover as soon as possible. No, Raikage-sama, it is not enough to simply recover. Tutai added. No matter who that person is, it is an indisputable fact that he defeated Salamander Hanzo. Facing such an enemy, it will be useless no matter how many mid and low-level forces we send out. What we need to do should be to improve our cutting-edge combat effectiveness. I propose that we should find ways to use the power of tailed beasts for military purposes. Imagine if we can send tailed beasts to participate in the war when the Ninja World War starts again. What a scene that would be! The power of the tailed beast is recognized by the ninja world as being powerful. It can be said that as long as the tailed beast goes berserk, it can destroy a city effortlessly. If the power of the tailed beasts can be used in war, then Yunying will have a very powerful helper. Using tailed beasts for military purposes. The third Raikage fell into deep thought, and finally made a decision to raise his head and look at his partner, and his nephew, the contemporary Bai, Urabi. Bai, the village needs you to make some contributions, can you do it? Blubby nodded. I will do my best for the village, Raikage-sama. Thank you for your hard work. Not only in Kumagakure village, but also everywhere in the ninja world, similar people are happening. Either for self-protection or for other purposes, those ninja villages or organizations began to look for ways to improve their strength, whether it was tailed beasts, secret techniques, or other ways to improve their strength. The purpose is to obtain sufficient capital to cope with the general trend that may occur in the future. But compared to those busy ninja villages, the culprit who caused all this has returned to the capital of the Land of Fire with the souvenirs of their trip, 3 children. On the luxurious carriage, the curtain of the window was opened, and 3 little heads squeezed out. Wow, is this the capital of the Kingdom of Fire? So beautiful. Wide streets, neat houses. And it's not like Rain Shinobi Village where everything is wet. What are they selling in those shops? I don't know, I've never seen it, but it looks delicious. Look over there, over there. When the 3 little ghosts arrived at the capital of the Land of Fire for the first time, their eyes shone when they saw the city, which was countless times more prosperous than Rain Shinobi Village. They turned into curious babies and looked around, taking in all the strange and novel things around them. Walking through the bustling streets and smelling the fragrance wafting from the shops, Yahiko's stomach made a growling sound. This is truly the capital of the Kingdom of Fire. Just smelling the fragrance wafting from those shops makes me hungry. Haha, don't worry, we'll be there soon. When we get home, we'll have all the good food we want. Zhe also laughed twice. Since these 3 brats are willing to call me teacher, then I should be nicer to them. They just like to eat. This doesn't matter to Jia at all. Oh. Can you really eat whatever you want? Yahiko's eyes were so bright that they seemed to be shining. Kakuzu on the side smiled. Kid, don't you know this? As long as there are shops selling food on this street, they are all owned by their bosses. Alas. Asterisk 3. Chapter 64. On the outskirts of Konoha, Chiba Manor. Yes, this is the so-called Chiba Manor, the forest where Tetsuya and Izuna often competed and fished. Under the influence of Jien's ability, this place has been circled and became Chiba Tetsuya's private estate. Although he is still just a businessman now, the aristocratic circle of the Fire Country has shown good intentions and wants to accept Tetsuya as a noble of the Fire Country. The reason is very simple, they really like the new things that Jia has come up with. All kinds of things for eating, drinking, and enjoying have become standard equipment for the aristocratic class. Although they were rich and powerful in the past, they could only eat, drink and enjoy those things. But after Tetsuya came to the capital, everything changed. In addition, Tetsuya knows how to deal with people and has a huge wealth. Although he is not a noble yet, he already has a place in the aristocratic circle. It's nothing more than seeding a useless forest, and it's not like Tetsuya doesn't want to pay. On a flat open space, Yahiko, Nagato Konan stood side by side. Their original clothes had been replaced by ninja training clothes, and Izuna stood in front of them. Listen now, you 3. Since you have become my disciples, I will train you according to the strict requirements of our Uchiha clan and let you grow into an excellent ninja. However, this process may be very hard. Are you mentally prepared? Ready. Asterisk 3. The 3 people answered in unison that they had been waiting for this moment for too long. Eager to become stronger, eager to gain power, eager to change that backward country and this cruel ninja world. And today, they will take their first step to learn how to become a ninja. Very well, on the way back, you have all successfully extracted your own chakra, so the first thing you need to do to become a ninja is to test your own chakra properties. Everyone's chakra attributes are more or less different. Only by understanding your own chakra attributes can you learn the most suitable ninjutsu. Izuna said as he took out 3 test strips for testing chakra. This is a test paper specially used to test chakra. Hold this paper and inject your own chakra. Based on the reaction of the paper, you can judge the properties of your own chakra. Take it and try it. The 3 of them had never seen anything like this before, so they took the test strip from Izuna's hand with some excitement and curiosity. On the steps of the wooden house not far away, Tetsuya sat on a soft cushion with a teapot and fruit plate beside him. He looked at Professor Izuna's disciples with interest. Izuna is a very serious person, and when he decides to do something, he will go all out. The process of learning from such people may be a lot harder, after all, their requirements will be very strict, but there is absolutely no doubt about the speed of progress. But fortunately, it can be said that the 3 of Yahiko are all rare geniuses. Needless to say, Nagato has the Uzumaki bloodline and the blessing of the Samsara Eye, so he can learn and understand things very quickly. Konan is also a genius and will develop a unique paper escape in the future. Among the 3, only Yahiko is slightly less talented, but his own optimistic personality does not make him feel that Izuna's attitude is very harsh. The test results came out quickly. Nagato's chakra attributes can be said to be rich, with all 5 attributes. Konan has 3 attributes, wind, water, and earth, among which the wind attribute is more abundant. Yahiko has 3 attributes, water, wind, and fire, of which water accounts for the largest proportion. In addition to testing the chakra attributes of the 3 people, Izuna already has a basic arrangement for the future of the 3 people. He began to teach the 3 of them some basic ninja skills, starting with the classification and use of blades. After all, the 3 of them have just refined chakra. Before chakra has accumulated to a certain level, teaching how to control and use chakra is of little use. After teaching them and guiding them on some of their respective shortcomings and problems, Izuna let them start practicing on their own. "Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Izuna, let's have a cup of tea." Looking at Izuna walking towards the wooden house, Tetsuya smiled and poured Izuna a cup of hot tea. "How are the 3 of them doing?" Izuna picked up the teacup and took a sip before saying. "Yahiko and Konan are fine, but Nagato has some health problems." "Oh, what do you say?" Zhe also knew that it must be a problem with the reincarnation eye, but he didn't know the specific situation. Izuna replied. "Nagato's reincarnation eyes belong to my brother. They are foreign objects. Nagato has no way to close these eyes. As a result, a large amount of chakra and life energy need to be consumed to support these eyes, which causes Nagato's body to be extraordinarily weak. As a Uzumaki bloodline, Nagato should have strong vitality and huge chakra, but now he is weaker than Yahiko and Konan. I see, that brat Nagato looks much weaker than the other 2. So, is there any way you can help Nagato close those eyes?" "Well..." Tetsuya scratched his head. "How about you dig out Nagato's Rinnegan eyes and replace them with a pair of ordinary eyes? Then find a new carrier for these Rinnegan eyes? Since they are your brother's eyes, it shouldn't be a problem to install the Rinnegan eyes on you. It's not big, but it may affect the evolution of your own eyes. Maybe your eyes will no longer be able to evolve into reincarnation eyes now that they have left your body." After hearing what Tetsuya said, Izuna lowered his head and really started thinking. Hey! What are you thinking? You don't really plan to take off your own eyes and replace them with Nagato's eyes? Aren't you afraid that your eyes won't be able to complete the evolution?" Izuna replied calmly. "It doesn't matter, those eyes evolved from the fusion of my brother's eyes and my eyes. In theory, those eyes are also my eyes. But, where should I find a pair of eyes suitable for Nagato?" Okay, I'm just talking casually. Isn't it just a pair of reincarnation eyes? Isn't it enough to seal the power of the reincarnation eyes? Just like Sharingan, when you don't use that power, your eyes and mine won't. Are they just ordinary black eyes?" Upon hearing this, Izuna felt that it made sense. But can the power of the samsara eye really be sealed? That is the eye of the legendary sage of 6 paths. Tisk, why are they 6 paths Lao Den's eyes again? Didn't you just say they were your eyes? Tetsuya spread his hands and said. "Let's do this. I will apply the sealing techniques, and then you will use your own power to assist me in closing the samsara eye that is fused with your eyes. It shouldn't be a big problem." Chapter 65. On the corridor of the wooden house, Nagato looked at his 2 teachers nervously for a moment. Because at this moment, his 2 teachers were staring directly at him, and there was nothing more terrifying than his own teacher staring at him. Usually at this time, the student being stared at may have recalled all the mistakes he has made since childhood. "Teacher Izuna, Teacher Tetsuya, what are you doing? Looking at me like this makes me a little scared." Nagato spoke timidly, he was really scared. Tetsuya saw Nagato's scared look and comforted him gently. "Don't be afraid Nagato, actually, we have something to tell you." "Teacher, tell me, I'm listening." "Nagato, your eyes are very special. There is powerful power in them, but you cannot control this power now. Not only will it not enhance your own strength, but it will consume your power. If this continues, it will be extremely difficult for you to control it. May cause damage to your body. So I discussed it with you, Mr. Izuna, and we plan to temporarily seal the power in your eyes. When you grow up and have enough power to control these eyes, we can then unlock the seal. What do you think?" This is not because Tetsuya is intimidating Nagato. He really feels that these samsara eyes are limiting Nagato's growth. As a member of the Uzumaki clan, Nagato also looked like he was suffering from kidney failure before he was drained by the Gedo statue. Those who didn't know thought he was drained by Konan, and Nagato's strength was still ridiculously weak. "Can the power in my eyes be sealed?" Nagato felt a little dreamy. He knew that his eyes had very powerful power, but not only was he unable to use the power in his eyes, the eyes were even consuming his body. Of course, why not? You must know that the sealing techniques in this world are very magical things. Things like tailed beasts can be sealed into a baby's body, just a pair of reincarnation eyes. Why not? Okay, I trust the two teachers. Please ask the two teachers to seal the power of my eyes. Do you need me to cooperate? Very good, just do it well and leave the rest to us. He said as he glanced at Izuna. Izuna understood and took a step forward. Nagato, extend your hand. Nagato heard this and stretched out his right hand, and Izuna held Nagato's right hand. Get ready to start, Tetsuya. Clear. Tetsuya nodded and started preparing the sealing techniques. At the beginning of the ceremony, Izuna transferred his chakra into Nagato's body, and it was at this moment that Izuna realized how weak Nagato's body was. Let's put it this way, if Nagato was not from the Uzumaki clan, he would have been drained of the reincarnation eye at a young age. As another owner of this pair of samsara eyes, Izuna's chakra quickly reacted to the samsara eyes. He immediately nodded towards Jia, indicating that he could start. Seeing this, Tetsuya began to use the sealing technique. Don't worry Nagato, it will be over soon. Special characters fell on Nagato's forehead one by one, and Nagato felt the power in his eyes slowly being gathered. This feeling is like a person carrying a heavy burden, and the weight on both ends of the burden is being taken away bit by bit. In this comfortable feeling, Nagato fell into a deep sleep. Nailed it! Tetsuya clapped his hands, and a special mark appeared on Nagato's forehead. This was the sealing techniques that Tetsuya improved by combining the chakra sealing techniques he extracted and the 8-sign seal. In these years, he didn't just eat, drink and have fun. There are so many ninjutsu and sealing techniques out there, and while he is learning, studying the connections and special features is his greatest pleasure. Tetsuya-sensei, Izuna-sensei, Nagato, what's wrong with him? Teacher, Nagato, is he okay? Looking at Nagato lying in the corridor, Yahiko and Konan came over worriedly. It's okay, he was just a little tired and fell asleep. In this weather and sunshine, it's good to let him sleep in the corridor for a while. As he said this, he looked at Yahiko and Konan and suddenly gave a kind smile. Why, have you two finished your training? Yahiko patted his chest and said. Of course I did. Not only did I complete the training tasks assigned by Izuna-sensei, I also added 2 more sets of training for myself. Really? That means you're awesome. Of course, I'm the best. I want to be a powerful ninja like Izuna-sensei in the future. Seeing Tetsuya praising Yahiko with a smile, and Yahiko still feeling smug, Konan suddenly had a feeling that Yahiko was going to be in big trouble. Well, now that you're done with your ninjutsu training, let's do this. As he spoke, Tetsuya pulled out 2 exercise books from his wide sleeves and stuffed them into the hands of Yahiko and Konan. I knew it would be like this. Looking at the exercises in the workbook, Konan shook his head. These things were fine for her, but for this guy Yahiko, it was like the sky was falling. The expression on Yahiko's face froze. No. Ha ha ha, you little brat, are you still laughing? Are you still proud? Zhe also smiled with a look of success. He, young devil, feel the fear of being dominated by homework. Don't just stand there and do your homework. If you don't finish it, you won't have any food. Yahiko suddenly had an idea and took 2 steps back, sitting down on the ground. Oh, Mr. Tetsuya, I was training too hard just now and I got hurt. Can you please not do your homework? Zhe also narrowed his eyes slightly and smiled. Haha, what do you think? How about this? I heard that electric shock can help tired people relax their bodies, how about you try it? Seeing lightning flashing on Tetsuya's right hand, Yahiko immediately got up from the ground. Teacher, please don't do it. I'm fine. I'm fine now. I'll do my homework now. He turned around, grabbed Konan and ran, fearing that he would be too late and Tetsuya's fist would hit him on the head. Yahiko, why are you dragging me along with you? Of course. Am I, Yahiko, the kind of person who would abandon my companions? Konan said somewhat speechlessly. But, the teacher wanted to beat you up from the beginning to the end, and that was the only one. Konan. You can't be disloyal. Looking at the 2 people running away, Zhe also smiled and shook his head. Remember, if you don't finish your homework, you won't have any food. After instructing them both, Zhe also sat back on his mat. What a funny little kid. Watching Yahiko running away, Tetsuya was thinking about how to deal with Uchiha and how to deal with Hanzo of the Salamander. Whether it is Yahiko, Nagato or Konan, they are all people with ideals. Although they had persuaded them to follow them to the Fire Kingdom, they would definitely return to the Rain Kingdom after they finished their studies, because that was where they were born, and their ideal and wish was to change the Rain Kingdom. But as long as they return to the Land of Rain, they will face Salamander Hanzo sooner or later. Salamander Hanzo, tisk, why don't we just kill him directly? Chapter 66. Just when he wanted to kill Sanshou Hanzo directly, Tetsuya shook his head again and rejected the idea in his heart. Bah, I've really been with this guy Izuna for too long. It's not okay to think about killing. I am a businessman, and a good businessman will not kill someone by himself. Tetsuya picked up the fruit in the fruit plate and took a bite. Moreover, if we kill him directly, there will be too many troubles in the future. If other people in the ninja village see Sanshou Hanzo dead, they will definitely have some other ideas. By then, the situation in the Land of Rain will only be worse. How about killing the person and replacing him with someone else pretending to be Sanshou Hanzo and secretly controlling Rain Shinobi Village? This idea is actually what Tetsuya thinks is the most reliable way, to find someone to transfer Sanshou Hanzo, or directly control Sanshou Hanzo, and then secretly control everything in Rain Shinobi Village. When Yahiko and the others returned to Rain Shinobi Village after completing their studies, they secretly manipulated Sanshou Hanzo to re-employ Yahiko and the others, and then helped them establish their prestige in Rain Shinobi Village. When the time was right, they abdicated directly and handed over the position of leader of Omegakure Village to Yahiko and the others. Oh! This is a great idea. I am simply a genius. Izuna sat aside and looked at Tetsuya talking to himself, a little speechless, but he didn't react much, and he didn't have any old problems. Over the years, Izuna has often seen Tetsuya sitting there muttering to himself. What's wrong, genius? What good thing have you thought of that makes you so happy? The word genius, Izuna even deliberately raised her voice. Jia didn't care, but smiled proudly. Hehe, I have found a good path for the future of Yahiko and the three of them. Oh? What's the future for the three of them? Upon hearing this, Izuna also became interested. Tetsuya told Izuna his plan. As the operator of the entire Uchiha family, Izuna felt that this idea was very feasible. However, there were still many details that needed to be optimized, so the two sat together and discussed it. The two of them became more and more enthusiastic as they chatted, and even began to plan the future of the Kingdom of Rain. The sun gradually tilted, and the warm sunlight turned into an orange-red sunset. Nagato slowly woke up from his deep sleep. What time is it now? How long have I been asleep? You're a good sleeper, kid. You've been sleeping all day. Tetsuya, who was sitting there drinking tea and reading a volume of ninjutsu, answered Nagato's doubts. Ah! I've been sleeping all day, and I haven't finished the training Izuna-sensei gave me yet. Okay, there's no need to worry about this kind of thing. You finally got rid of the heavy burden on your body. Resting for a while will be good for you in the future. Putting down the scroll, Tetsuya looked at Nagato. After completing the seal, Nagato's eyes finally changed from the samsara eyes back to normal eyes. A pair of black eyes looked particularly sharp and domineering. These eyes have a feeling that does not belong to Nagato's stage, a feeling of looking down on the world, which makes the young Nagato look a bit stronger. How about reaching out and letting me check on your recovery? Oh! Nagato honestly stretched out his right hand. Tetsuya clasped Nagato's wrist and released chakra to check his condition. After a simple inspection, he had to sigh with emotion, he was worthy of the blood of the Uzumaki clan. Nagato, who was originally at a loss due to being squeezed by the samsara eye, is now full of vitality. However, this is not Nagato's best state. It has only been a day, and if he slowly adjusts to it, he should be able to become stronger. The recovery is good, but it still needs to be adjusted slowly. I will ask the chef of the restaurant to make some more nourishing dishes for you later. Thank you, teacher. Hi, thank you. Nagato noticed the ninjutsu scroll in Tetsuya's hand and asked curiously. Sensei, are you studying ninjutsu? Tetsuya replied with a smile. That's right, unlike Mr. Izuna, I am born with enviable talents, so I just find time to study more and research on my own. Nagato curiously took a second look at the ninjutsu that his teacher was studying. He found that he only knew the words on it, but when he combined these words, he couldn't quite understand what they meant. But even so, he still discovered an interesting thing, that is, the ninjutsu on this scroll actually uses a variety of chakra. Teacher, why does the ninjutsu on this scroll use both wind attribute chakra and fire attribute chakra? Seeing Nagato's interest, Tetsuya showed a proud smile. This is something I researched myself. I haven't thought of a name yet. The effect of ninjutsu is very interesting. It can give a ninjutsu the effect of chakra with other attributes. For example, when using wind release ninjutsu to attack places, generally wind release attacks the enemy by rotating, cutting, impacting, or squeezing to damage the enemy. However, if it is equipped with a chakra that has the fire attribute, wind release ninjutsu can have the effect of fire. It's amazing. Although Nagato didn't understand the principle, he instinctively felt that it was very powerful. Yet, come here and let me demonstrate it to you, just watch. Jai jumped down and landed not far from a big tree. Watch out for Nagato. Fire style. Fire bullet technique. With a flick of his hand, a ball of flame came out of his hand. Jia deliberately missed this blow. The flames fell on the ground and instantly exploded and spread backwards. The explosion produced a pretty good impact, and at the same time, the flames bloomed and continued to cause burning effects. Immediately afterwards, Tetsuya pushed out something. Wind escape. Fire wind palm. The strong wind compressed in the palm of his hand, and as Jai struck out with his palm, a strong wind suddenly set off, and flames actually appeared in the strong wind. Bang! This palm successfully hit the big tree, and the thick trunk broke and fell instantly. Flames ignited on the fallen tree, constantly burning the trees. You see, Nagato, this is the effect of the technique I studied. Give a ninjutsu with another new effect, increase the changes of ninjutsu, and make your enemies unable to figure out your ninjutsu. It's amazing, Teacher Tetsuya. I want to learn this, is it okay? You can tell by looking at Nagato's excited look how much he likes this ninjutsu. In fact, this is normal. After all, when Nagato grows up and is squeezed dry by the Gedo statue, he will be the king of 5 spirits. This ninjutsu was developed based on the skills of the 5-spirit king young Nagato. He was really looking forward to the scene in the future where Nagato would chase others with his thunderbolt on the battlefield of the ninja world. Of course. If you want to learn, I will teach you after I develop the complete version of ninjutsu. Grow up well, say Onion, and look forward to the day when you become the king of 5 spirits. Chapter 67. In the ninja world, outside Rain Shinobi village, an aloe vera plant emerged from the ground. Damn, why is this happening? Why is it missing? Why is this happening? At this moment, Lao Yingguan, who had been planning for thousands of years, became extremely angry. He looked at the Baiju people who appeared with him and couldn't help but curse. How did you do this? You can't even look at me. You're trash. You are just a bunch of trash. This could not be explained by Heiju's anger, because Nagato was missing, and such a big living person was missing. This is not the most important thing. Nagato is just a carrier and a chess piece. What is really important is the samsara eye on Nagato. That was the key to rescuing his mother in the future. He had been busy in the ninja world for so many years and had finally acquired a pair of reincarnation eyes. Faced with the angry scolding from Black Zetsu, most of the white Zetsu lowered their heads, only one figure complained with some dissatisfaction with the other white Zetsu. There is nothing we can do, Heiju. The situation at that time was too complicated. There were fighting everywhere. We had to spread out and stare at the battlefields of all parties. We couldn't take care of it at all. Besides, didn't you arrange that brat yourself? Seriously speaking, this is your main responsibility. UBD, you still dare to talk back. Black Jew was numb with anger. Well, what happened has happened. Instead of getting angry here, it's better to find a way to find Nagato as soon as possible. It's easy for you to say, the ninja world is so big, where can I find a brat? Another Baiju spoke. I have seen those 3 little ghosts often coming into contact with a disaster victim before. Maybe those 3 little ghosts were taken away by the disaster victim. Disaster victims. I know where he lives. Under the leadership of White Zetsu, Black Zetsu found Kakuzu's temporary base where Kakuzu was hiding. When he came in, relying on his years of voyeuristic experience in the dark corners of the ninja world, Black Zetsu immediately recognized that this place should be a stronghold, not a place where disaster victims lived. Damn it, what kind of disaster victim is that guy? He's a spy from other ninja villages who infiltrated Rain Shinobi. I really admire Sanshou Hanzo. The village has been infiltrated like this, but he can still fight off other ninja villages. Did Nagato be taken away by people from other ninja villages, and someone discovered the Rinnegan Eye? Black Zetsu thought about ordering to White Zetsu behind him. Go, you guys find a way to go to other ninja villages to find out information and find out who took Nagato away. Clear. These White Zetsu, the best workers in the ninja world, sneaked underground and began to perform tasks, preparing to collect information from other ninja villages. However, Black Zetsu probably never imagined that the person who took Nagato away was not a ninja village at all. He avoided the correct answer from the beginning. At the request of Black Zetsu, the White Zetsu began to collect information on major ninja villages through various methods. It's okay if we don't check, but if we check, there will be problems. Black Zetsu received information from White Zetsu from different directions. These ninja villages were secretly researching and preparing something. Judging from the intelligence alone, no matter which village it is, there is a possibility that Nagato has been kidnapped. Damn it, what is going on? Are all these villages crazy? Or are they not fighting enough yet and are planning to save their strength for another fight? After finishing the information, Heiju couldn't help but curse. Continue the investigation and find out for me what they are doing. While Black Zetsu was busy investigating who took Nagato away from these ninja villages, Nagato was currently spending every day to the fullest. The cultivation of Chiba Manor and Nagato and the three of them is on the right track. When they get up every morning, they start with basic ninjutsu practice. After the practice, Tetsuya will give them lectures on mathematics and economics. After lunch, continue practicing, start doing homework in the evening, practice chakra after dinner, and finally go to bed early. Life is fulfilling and stable, and the three of them are growing up rapidly under the guidance of Tetsuya and Izuna. In Chiba Manor, a masked ninja who didn't look like he was from the country of fire came outside the manor. Izuna, who taught the three people to practice, saw this ninja and recognized him. Wasn't this guy one of the two idiot ninjas he controlled with Sharingan? Those two idiot ninjas have sent Tetsuya a lot of useless information over the years, and Tetsuya usually used it for fun. Interestingly, they were originally subordinates of a female spy. But the female spy was eventually removed because of her old age, but they stayed. Sir, I have something to report. Isn't it usually the ninja pigeon that delivers the message? The situation is special, this time. Okay, I'm not interested in this. Just go in, that guy is inside. Thank you, sir. The idiot ninja thanked him and walked towards the direction of the wooden villa. Heyu. Good morning. Tetsuya, who was woken up by the four Izuna who got up to practice early in the morning, and then fell asleep again, finally got up from the bed and came to the corridor with a glass of milk in his hand. Grown-ups. When the idiot ninja saw Tetsuya appear, he immediately knelt down on one knee and saluted. Hey, you are that undercover ninja from Hidden Cloud Village. Why did you come to see me today? Don't you usually use ninja pigeons to convey information? Sir, there is important information that needs to be conveyed, which cannot be explained on the letter. Really, it looks like Union Village is doing something big. After saying that, Tetsuya took out his hand and sat down directly in the corridor. Okay, you get up and sit next to me and tell me slowly what happened. Yes, thank you sir. When the idiot ninja heard about it, he sat down in the corridor and began to report the information. The origin of the specific incident can be traced back to the time when Uchiha Madara was born on the battlefield of the Land of Rain. The resurrection of Uchiha Madara greatly stimulated the nerves of all major ninja villages in the ninja world, and Kumagakure is no exception. In order to have the power to fight Uchiha Madara, the people of Cloud Shadow Village began to develop the power of the tailed beast in Jinchuriki. The idea is good, but the ending is not so good. How could Jinchuriki master the power of the tailed beast so easily if the tailed beast didn't cooperate? As a result, Eight Tails Jiki went berserk many times, causing great damage to Cloud Shadow Village. In order to subdue Eight Tails, he paid a heavy price, and many ninjas died. In order to perfectly control Eight Tails, Union Village urgently needs a better method, but after studying it for a long time, there is no good method. At this time, a wise man thought of the descendant of the Uzumaki clan whom the intelligence had mentioned before, the Uzumaki descendant living in Konoha, Uzumaki Kushina. Perhaps by bringing this Uzumaki descendant back and studying their Uzumaki clan's special chakra, we can find a way to perfectly control the tailed beast. Chapter 68. Because Yurabi and I have been active within the Fire Country all year round, we were ordered to lead the team to participate in this mission. After listening to the idiot ninja's report, Tetsuya was a little surprised. You and another idiot ninja are responsible for leading the team? Are you two strong enough? Plunder the Uzumaki Kushina is going to invade the Leaf Village. In his impression, this idiot ninja named Yelika and another idiot ninja named Yurabi were not very strong. After all, they didn't even have the ability to resist at the beginning. Jian seemed a little surprised that they would also participate in the mission and lead the team. Yelika immediately explained. Sir, actually Yurabi and I are both special Jainin, we're just not good at fighting. Oh, that's it. Special Jainin has been active in the Land of Fire all year round, so it makes more sense for you two to lead the team. As he said this, Jai had a flash of inspiration and thought of something interesting. You must have dispatched a lot of people on this mission. Let's see if there is any chance for me to sneak in. Sir, do you want to participate in this mission? Yes, that's quite interesting, isn't it? He was also a little curious. With only 2 special Jainin leading the team, Union Village would send out 2 more Jainin and a Fuchinin to tie up Kushina. You know, Kushina was living in Mito's mansion at that time. She was first Hokage's wife. Would there be no one in the mansion to protect her? Also, how did they enter Konoha, and where were the people in the barriers class and the sensing class? Where are the people from Hyuga and Uchiha? One rolled his eyes and the other Sharingan. The village was invaded and they didn't even know what they were doing for food. Or do these guys have some special ability to fool the barriers class and the perception class, and then evade the Byakugan and Sharingan? If they were really so powerful, how could they be defeated by the young Minato in seconds? So he wanted to see how they kidnapped Kushina and how they were killed by Minato. It's okay, sir, there are people coming to participate in the mission this time. Yelika began to report on the personnel configuration of this mission. After hearing this, Tetsuya realized that there were people from Kumigakure inside Konoha. No wonder they could sneak in. CO author discovered the breach from the inside. Their specific plan was to sneak into Konoha first, and then separate to wait in several whirlpools where Kushina was most likely to appear. As long as one party succeeds, there is no need to notify others and they can evacuate directly. The first priority for others changed to survival after one party succeeded. When will you act? Sir, all of us will gather in the capital of the Land of Fire tomorrow, and then we will set off for Konoha together. Okay, I understand. In that case, let's set off now. Tetsuya was in high spirits, he was already looking forward to this trip to Konoha. After explaining to Izuna, Tetsuya and Yurika returned to the capital of Konoha. Sir, I think I still have to remind you that if you want to join this mission, you still need to change your appearance. Returning to where Yelika stayed, Yelika looked Tetsuya up and down and gave a careful reminder. How to say? Among the people coming this time are the elites of Union Village. They are all natives of the Kingdom of Thunder. Oh, I understand, please keep an eye on it. Jai understood immediately, formed a seal with his hands, and changed his appearance in a flash. His originally fair complexion became dark, and his height also increased, becoming much taller. The original black hair has also disappeared, turning into a shiny bald head, which looks like a braised egg from the back. He has 2 eyebrows that are darker than his skin color, piercing eyes, and a confident smile, revealing his front teeth that are so white that they shine. Hey, man, what can I say? Mamba out. Seeing Tetsuya's change in appearance, Yelika was also stunned for a moment. No, why does this look more like a person from the Kingdom of Thunder than myself? It's bad, and I have become a member of the Kingdom of Fire. How's it going? Is there something wrong with me looking like this? Nothing wrong, sir, have you been to the Kingdom of Thunder? No, but I saw many ninjas from Union Village on the battlefield. Tetsuya always kept a big smile on his face, but while smiling, he said that he had been on the battlefield, and Yelika felt a little cold on his back. By the way, just to be on the safe side, don't call me sir in the future. Then what should I call you, sir? Call me Mamba. Time flies and it's time to gather. In a forest outside the capital, a group of ninjas from Union Village gathered. Tetsuya scanned it and found that there were 9 people in total excluding himself. He roughly estimated their strength. In addition to the 2 special Jainin, Yurika and Yurabi, there were 2 Jainin and 5 Chunin. It happens that every 3 people are in groups, divided into 3 groups. The 2 Jainin each take 2 Chunin, and the remaining Chunin is taken by Eureka and Urabi. But because of his own participation, it has now become 10 people. Yelika looked at the gathered ninjas. Okay, now that we're all here, let's get ready to go. Wait a minute, why is there an extra person? One of the two Jainin suddenly spoke and looked at Tetsuya. Explained by Ruby. This is Mamba, he joined our team temporarily. Temporarily joining? Could he be a spy from another village? What do you mean? Urabi, I should be the one asking you what this means? Have you defected to Konoha a long time ago and arranged for such a spy to join the mission just to destroy our plan? You. Okay Urabi, leave it to me. Tetsuya looked at the Jainin. He knew this guy. Yesterday, Yelika mentioned this guy in his staffing report to himself. This guy had conflicts with them before in Union Village. I didn't expect him to jump out and cause trouble at this time. Do you still want to explain Konoha's spies? Haha, I am Konoha's spy. Tetsuya sneered twice, then activated the lightning-style chakra mode instantly, possessing Leikai. Eat my black mamba elbow. Man! He stepped forward so fast that no one could react. Tetsuya hit the opponent's heart directly with an elbow, using super speed, powerful strength, and Leikai's reinforcement. This blow instantly killed a crispy ninja. You, out. Who has any questions now? Jai looked at the others, with a harmful aura blooming all over his body. The moment they saw Leikai, no one dared to say no. Are you kidding? This is lightning-style chakra mode. It is the secret skill of their third Raikage. Only ninjas who are direct descendants of Raikage have the opportunity to come into contact with it. Chapter 69. Yelika and Urabi were a little confused. Is this adult so strong? They also thought that when they entered Konoha, they would need to take action to protect this adult who was watching the fun. As a result, he is so strong, who protects whom? Moreover, isn't this lord from the land of fire? Why did Raikage-sama invent ninjutsu? Could it be that this gentleman is really from the Kingdom of Thunder, a spy who lurked in the Kingdom of Fire earlier than they did? But no matter what, they just need to follow closely behind this adult. Okay, the person he was originally responsible for leading is following me. When we take action next, I don't want to hear any discordant sounds. Do you understand? Understood. Asterisk and all the ninjas responded in unison. A Jainin was killed in one move. The strength of the Mamba in front of him should not be underestimated. Although I have never heard of such a strong man before, it is possible that he came out to engage in lurking work very early. After all, he knows lightning-style chakra mode, so he must be a direct descendant of Raikage-sama. What else is there to say? He is powerful and a direct descendant of Raikage. When such a person speaks, he is right and wrong. All subsequent actions went smoothly, and no one dared to make any mistakes. The 9 people were divided into 3 groups and sneaked into Konoha one after another, and Tetsuya was the first to sneak into Konoha. Looking at the barrier's gap in front of him, Tetsuya crossed his arms and looked at it carefully. Good guy, this is a dog hole, do you want to get in? With such a small gap, no wonder it was missed by Konoha. Sir, let's go in quickly. We only have 10 minutes. Once the 10 minutes are up, Konoha's patrol troops will come to patrol. I understand, let's go there. Tetsuya said, and will activate ninjutsu to shrink his body a little, and successfully pass through the barriers, followed by the others. Follow me. Tetsuya took the 2 of them and began to go deep into Konoha. He had lived in Konoha for so many years and knew where to go and how to go. It was evening at this moment, and there were not many people outside the village, so the sneaking in was very smooth. According to the plan, they speculated that the 3 most likely places where Kushina Uzumaki would appear were the training ground, the ninja school, and Kushina Uzumaki's home. The goal of Tetsuya's team is the training ground. The ninjutsu training ground in Konoha is very large. This is a place for civilian ninjas in the village to practice ninjutsu. As for the ninjas of the ninja clan, they have their own special training places. Although it is said that Uzumaki Kushina lives in the first Hokage's mansion and Uzumaki Mito lives together, there is no place to practice ninjutsu in the Hokage mansion in the first generation. After all, Senju Hashirama has no need for such things. Therefore, Kushina practices ninjutsu on weekdays and comes to the ninjutsu training ground for training. I see, I finally understand why it's so easy. After successfully arriving at the lurking point outside the practice site, Tetsuya finally understood why they were able to sneak in smoothly. The war has just ended. Konoha was fighting many parties at the same time in this war. Although it won, the price paid was heavy. A large number of ninjas died on the battlefield, and Konoha was already very weak during this period. It seems that the interior of Konoha is emptier than we imagined. Yes, sir, even though Konoha seems to be the biggest winner in this ninja war, Master Todai has calculated that Konoha's losses are actually the largest among all ninja villages. This is why we dare to formulate this kidnapping plan. The reason? In this case, do you dare to play a big trick with me? If you succeed, Lord Raikage will definitely reward you greatly. Zhe also showed a big smile, and his white mouth was particularly shining. The two Chunin looked at each other, and when they thought of Tetsuya's amazing strength, coupled with the emptiness of Konoha right now, they couldn't help but nod. We are completely at the mercy of the adults. If the adults tell us to go east, we will never go west. Very good. Zhe also nodded in satisfaction. According to the information I have obtained, there is a sealed scroll left by 2nd Hokage Senju Tobirama in Konoha. On that sealed scroll are a large number of forbidden techniques created by 2nd Hokage. If we can steal it and bring it back to the village, it's definitely a great achievement. Hearing this, the two Chunin were also excited. But they still patted their faces and calmed themselves down. But sir, what about our mission? Yes, our first priority is to kidnap the descendant of Uzumaki. Hey, look at what you said. Do you think that the person from the vortex will show up if we wait here? Tetsuya asked, pointing to the sky. It's already evening, will you go to training at this time? The two shook their heads. That's it. If we continue to stay here, it will only be a waste of time. We might as well steal the sealing scroll. That would be a great achievement. After listening to Jai's words, the two thought about it carefully and felt that what Jai said made sense. At this time, most people should go home for dinner, so there is no point in waiting here any longer. So, the task of capturing the descendants of Uzumaki will be handed over to others, and we will steal the Book of Seals. This is called risk sharing. Even if the other party fails to kidnap the descendants of Uzumaki, if we can steal the Book of Seals, then on the one hand, wouldn't it also be able to make up for the losses caused by the mission failure? Your Excellency is right. It's all up to you, my lord. Okay, follow me. Tetsuya led his men straight to the Hokage building. He was too familiar with this road. When the 2nd Hokage Tobirama was still in power, he often went there to deliver takeout for him. The closer the three got to the Hokage building, the more guards and secret agents they encountered. Be careful and watch out for hidden patrolling ninjas. After being reminded, the three of them hid quickly. Two Konoha ninjas wearing green Jainin Mega were seen walking down the street. After confirming that they were far away, the three of them continued on their way. Although there were two Chunin following Tetsuya, they were obviously specially trained and were extremely good at hiding their bodies and conducting reconnaissance and counter-reconnaissance. The level of hiding of Konoha's Anbu ninja is already very high, but their two Chunin are able to find the hidden Anbu ninja while avoiding each other's sight. It has to be said that even Zhe is not as good as them in this regard. Moving forward, the three successfully entered the Hokage building. It was early evening, and not many people were still in the Hokage building at this time. Zhe also gestured to them, indicating that they should separate. The Hokage building is huge, so if you want to find the seal scroll, it's best to act separately. After they separated, Jia transformed himself into Jiraiya. Walking in the Hokage building with arrogance. Chapter 70. Where is it? Isn't it possible that Hiruzen Sarutobi hid in his home instead of in the Hokage building? No, isn't it usually hidden in the Hokage building? Are the novels I read all blind? Written in. Tetsuya, who transformed into Jiraiya, was looking for traces of the sealed book in the Hokage building, but he couldn't find it after searching several places. Jiraiya-sama, when did you come back? As soon as a door was opened, a ninja who was sorting and collecting documents saw Jiraiya standing at the door. Ahahaha! Tetsuya imitated Jiraiya and laughed twice. Not long after I came back, the old man came out and he wanted me to find something. Maybe I can tell you what you need to find. It's like this. I was researching a new ninjutsu recently, but I had no idea. The old man asked me to look at the Book of Sealings, but I forgot where the Book of Sealings is. The sealed book, I know where it is, please come with me. Under the leadership of this ninja, Tetsuya came to a room that looked ordinary. This is it. I'll take my leave now. There are some things that I'm not comfortable seeing. The ninja who led the way bowed slightly to Tetsuya and turned around to leave. Is it inside? It doesn't look like anything special here. Curious, Zhe also turned on the Sharingan. It didn't matter if he didn't look at it. He was shocked when he saw it. Good guys, the ordinary room is full of chakra fluctuations, various special barriers and sealing techniques. If you do not follow specific rules to unlock these barriers and sealing techniques, I am afraid that the seals and barriers inside will be directly triggered. But Tetsu doesn't have any other abilities, he just lives a long time and likes to study various sealing techniques and ninjutsu when he has nothing to do. After all, among the first rewards he drew, the most commonly used ones were 8-sign seal and chakra sealing techniques produced by Kakuzu, which made him very interested in this aspect. Pushing open the door, Jia stepped inside and started researching. Tetsuya moved quickly and successfully arrived in front of the seal scroll before the sun set. This is the sealed book of Konoha. Let me see what is written in it. Opening the sealed book, the first ninjutsu recorded on it is the multiple shadow clone technique. This technique is very classic. Naruto relied on this ninjutsu and erased Nan to clear the entire Hokage ninja instance. He learned it after just a few glances. After all, Tetsuya himself knew the shadow clone technique. When he had no time to study ninjutsu, he studied multiple shadow clone techniques. Not only does he have multiple shadow clone techniques, he also has raised Nan. Basically, apart from those forbidden arts and secret arts, ninjutsu Tetsu also knows a little bit about other techniques. Well, it's not much different from the technique I deduced myself, but the control of chakra is more delicate. Next one. The second forbidden technique is the technique of reincarnation from dirty soil. Tetsuya glanced at this and ignored it. It was a useless garbage ninjutsu. He could resurrect a person in a real sense. Izuna was resurrected by himself. What else did he want from this ninjutsu? Besides, even if I want it, I want the version after Orochimaru perfected it, the original version of the filthy earth reincarnation, so forget it. The third technique, 8 Gates Dungia. This technique immediately caught Tetsuya's attention. After all, when he first obtained the evil god's immortal body, he was already thinking about the 8 Gates armor. After all, people who have seen Hokage may have thought about adding the 8 Gates armor to the immortal body. Var. Good stuff, this is really good stuff, I have to write it down quickly. He had no intention of taking the sealed book directly. After all, he wanted to have fun waiting for the Crown Prince Naruto to steal the book in the future. What would Naruto do if he took it away now? After a few quick clicks of 8 Gates Dungia, Jia continued to look at the next forbidden technique. The fourth technique, the technique of tandem paper bombs. This technique is good, Deidara will definitely like this technique. It's just that this technique cannot be used by ordinary people, it must be done with a body made of dirty earth. The explosion range is too large, and the explosion speed is also fast. Once it is turned on, it will trigger a series of explosions until the enemy and yourself are blown to ashes. Who are you? How dare you pretend to be me and steal the sealed book? Just when Zhe was watching fascinated, a loud shout suddenly rang out. Jiraiya himself actually appeared at the door. Oh my, what a coincidence! Jia rolled up the sealed book and smiled wickedly. I didn't expect to run into the real one. What a pity! I haven't found Flying Thunder God yet. I don't care who you are. Put down the sealed book right now and surrender. I will try to get you leniency. I'm sorry, but I'm not in the habit of surrendering myself. As soon as he finished speaking, Jai jumped directly, broke through the window and fled the scene. Don't even think about running. Jiraiya shouted and was about to chase after him. Before leaving, he said to the ninja who had led the way. Go and inform everyone that an enemy has invaded and has stolen the Book of Seals. Yes, Master Jiraiya. Soon the ninjas of Konoha village took action. There was no way. After all, the two people who were running around on the roofs of the village, bursting out dazzling flames from time to time, made too much noise. Fire style, big flame bomb. Jiraiya, who was chasing Tetsuya, jumped onto a telephone pole in front of him and spewed out a fierce flame from his mouth. The flame illuminated the village and swept towards Tetsuya. Nice fire style, but the flame is a little small. As he spoke, Tetsuya quickly formed a seal with one hand, and before Jiraiya's fire style arrived, he also spit out a mouthful of flame. Fire style. Great dragon fire technique. In an instant, the flames turned into a huge fire dragon. The fire dragon opened its mouth wide and swallowed Jiraiya's big fire bomb in one gulp. After swallowing the big fire bomb, the fire dragon exploded directly. The horrifying shock echoed across the street, but fortunately there weren't many people in the direction Jai was running. What an amazing fire style! Jiraiya was shocked when he saw the great dragon fire technique released by Tetsuya. He immediately realized that the enemy this time might not be simple, but it made sense. This person dared to run to the Hokage building of Konoha to steal the sealed book, so how could he be a simple character? Who are you and why are you trying to steal our Konoha's things? Oh my, didn't your teacher teach you not to argue with your enemies? As he was speaking, Jai completed the seal for another person. Fire style. Fire dragon bomb. Another fire dragon flew out and rushed straight towards Jiraiya. Fire style, fire dragon flame bullet. Seeing this, Jiraiya also hurriedly performed ninjutsu. The two fire dragons collided with each other, causing a shocking explosion. This time, almost the entire Konoha heard the explosion, and more people rushed over here. What are you looking at? While Jiraiya was still looking for Tetsuya's figure, his voice sounded behind Jiraiya. Nani? The secret of ninja taijutsu, 1000 years of killing. Tetsu immediately used a secret ninjutsu 1000 years of death and headed straight for Jiraiya's back door. Shadow Snake Hand. Just when Jiraiya was in danger of losing his back, several white snakes opened their mouths wide and came towards Tetsuya to bite. Chapter 71. Orochimaru didn't know when he appeared behind Tetsuya, his hands turned into several big white snakes and bitten towards Tetsuya. Tetsuya dodged to avoid it, but the big white snake twisted its body and bit into the sealed book that Tetsuya was carrying on his back. Succeeded. Orochimaru pulled hard and pulled the sealed book back. Seeing the sealed book fall into Orochimaru's hands, Tetsuya couldn't help but sigh. As expected of Orochimaru, who has the highest IQ among the Sunin. Did he come here for the sealed book in my hand in the first place? Haha, I can fight this idiot Jiraiya for several rounds and gain the upper hand. I don't think my sneak attack can succeed, so I just need to get back what belongs to our Konoha. Orochimaru laughed twice with his unique voice, then summoned a big snake as thick as an arm to swallow the sealed book directly into his belly, and escaped into the ground. Really, but don't you think I would do some crazy things without the book of sealing in my hand? Orochimaru stuck out his tongue and licked his lips. You don't seem like such a person. Although you use the face of Jiraiya, an idiot, I know you are definitely not a lunatic. Hey, Orochimaru, what do you mean? Why do you still call me a fool when facing the enemy? Am I a lunatic? Shut up you idiot Jiraiya. Tsunade also arrived at the battlefield at this moment, and Sunin gathered again. The last time Sunin gathered to face Sancho Hanzo, who became famous in the ninja world, but this time the three of them gathered to face an unidentified enemy. In addition to Tsunade, a large number of Konoha ninjas arrived. However, when they saw that Sunin was there, they also knew that the enemy invading the village might not be simple, so they just surrounded the scene and kept a distance and did not dare to approach easily. Are you stalling for your time? It's interesting, then let me meet you three from Konoha for a while. While speaking, he made seals with his hands. Fire style. Triple fire dragon flame bullet. Call. Fire surged in the air, and in an instant 3 terrifying fire dragons flew out and rushed straight towards Sunin. Orochimaru and Tsunade quickly dodged, while Jiraiya completed the seal. Fire style, big fire bomb. Bang! The fire exploded, and orange-red flames illuminated the entire street. Latent shadow snake hand. Orochimaru took advantage of Jiraiya's attraction. Several more big snakes rushed towards Tetsuya. Haha, old tricks are useless to me, lightning style. Razor. With a flick of his right hand, the golden thunder turned into a giant snake and rushed out. The violent thunder instantly shattered Orochimaru's snake and rushed towards Orochimaru. Scare! The golden thunder snake rushed in front of Orochimaru and bit it. Nani? Orochimaru has, how come ninjutsu himself has never seen this before? He quickly activated his teleportation technique and avoided the attack. My feet hurt. A female voice sounded, and Tsunade fell from above and kicked Tetsuya. Bang! When this foot fell, the house collapsed instantly. Tsunade stood in the ruins, looking for Tetsuya's figure. When that kick fell, Tsunade realized something was wrong. What he kicked was not an enemy, but a piece of wood. Eat my elbow! As soon as Tsunade turned around, a figure rushed up like the wind and hit her in the face with an elbow. Tsunade hurriedly raised her hand to block, but she underestimated the power of this blow. Boom! With a muffled sound, Tsunade's body crashed through the wall and rolled twice on the street before stopping. Tsunade. Seeing this, Jiraiya hurriedly stepped forward to help Tsunade up. Careful! Tsunade shouted, and Jiraiya looked up and saw a fire dragon rushing over. Fire style. Great dragon fire technique. Ninjutsu, Needle Jizo. He saw the terrifying fire dragon and then Tsunade, who fell to the ground. Jiraiya hugged Tsunade, and then activated Needle Jizo. His long white hair instantly grew and wrapped around the two of them. Jiraiya, Tsunade. Orochimaru saw this and immediately activated ninjutsu. Ninja technique, formation of 10,000 snakes. The next moment, a large number of long snakes came out of Orochimaru's mouth, and the snakes rushed towards Tetsuya like crazy. Earth style. Yellow Chuan Numa. Ninjutsu activated, and the entire circle around Tetsuya turned into a swamp, and all the swarming snakes were swallowed up by the swamp. Are you okay, Jiraiya? Tsunade looked at the burned Jiraiya and immediately used Sage Jutsu to treat him. I'm okay, it's just a minor burn, Siha. Jiraiya said it was okay, but his whole body couldn't help but tremble because of the pain. It seems that you look down on me a little. Even now, the psychic beast is unwilling to use it. In that case, I will take my leave. Jai was a little tired of playing. After playing for a long time, the psychic beast didn't even call out to play. As soon as he finished speaking, Jai turned around and left. Don't even think about leaving. Jiraiya saw this and shouted loudly. Immediately he used his psychic skills. Bang! A giant toad appeared next to Jiraiya, with dark red skin, a coat on his body, a huge pipe in his mouth, and a long knife on his waist. Jiraiya, who is the enemy this time? It's the guy who wants to escape. Please stop him, Bunta. Jiraiya jumped onto Buntai's back. Learn. Bunta jumped up and rushed out. Although he looked a bit too big and clumsy, his speed was surprisingly amazing. In one leap, he surpassed those Konoha ninjas who chased him out one step ahead. Boom! Wenta and Jiraiya blocked Tetsuya's way, and Wenta saw a person who was the same as Jiraiya. Is this guy? He actually disguised himself as you. Wenta, let's stop him and use that move. Clear. Jiraiya and Bunta cooperated tacitly, and chakra exploded. Fire style. Toad oil flame bomb. Jiraiya spit out fierce flames from his mouth, while Bunta spit out thick and flammable toad oil. The flame ignited the toad oil, and instantly turned into a huge fireball and swept towards Tetsuya. Tetsuya quickly backed away. Water style. Water barrier. Faced with the flames caused by toad oil, Tetsuya did not choose to resist, and released water barrier for defense. After all, once it is contaminated with toad oil, the flame cannot be extinguished so easily. Psychic skills, come out, Orokai. Orochimaru did not choose to summon 10,000 snakes. After all, 10,000 snakes are extremely violent. To summon him requires a living sacrifice. This is not a battlefield. It would be bad if 10,000 snakes couldn't think of enough to devour the Leaf Village name. The psychic technique was activated, and a big snake was summoned. Orochimaru directed the blue-grey snake to rush straight towards Tetsuya. He opened his bloody mouth and bit down on Jai, and a rotten smell hit his face. Oh my, your wormy mouth smells so bad. While he was speaking, his hands had already finished responding. The Art of Psychics, come out, Wang Tai-sin. Chapter 72. The huge python stretched out its neck and opened its bloody mouth to bite towards Jai. The bloody mouth was so huge that everyone felt that Jai had nowhere to escape. However, at the critical moment, a giant furry claw grabbed the python's vitals and knocked it to the ground in an instant. Everyone in Konoha looked up and saw a huge furry creature. Yellow fur, sharp claws, and a long tail with a tuft of white hair at the tip of the tail. What is that? A tailed beast. Seeing the giant yellow furry creature, everyone in Konoha was a little scared. After all, Nine Tails had left such a deep impression on them. It is also huge, also furry, also yellow, and has the same long tail. It's hard not to be reminded of the Nine Tails who returned with Uchiha Madara to destroy Konoha. No, it shouldn't be a tailed beast, but some kind of summoning beast. Oh, I haven't seen such a big worm for a long time. It looks like it must be the worm from Longdi Cave. Such a big worm can't be found in other places. Little kid, you finally asked me to come out and fight. I'm waiting for you. This day has been a long time coming. But then again, how did you end up fighting the guys from Longdi Cave? Those standing on top of Huang Bai's head laughed. Nothing, just came to Konoha to borrow something, and then they didn't really want to borrow it, so they started fighting. Jiraiya, who was standing on Gamabunta's head not far away, was shocked to see Huang Bai holding the giant snake with one hand. How could there be such a large summoned beast, and the summoned beast had such a strong natural smell? Energy. Bunta, do you know that guy? But when Gamabunta spoke, Jiraiya found that the big guy's voice began to tremble. That guy is from the Yellow Weasel clan in the Yellow Skin Tomb. Yellow Skin Tomb? What kind of place is that? Is it a sacred place for summoning spirit beasts like Mount Maiboku? Yes. Gamabunta replied. But I also heard about this place and the Yellow Weasel clan from the elders of Mount Maiboku. It is said that a long time ago, when we summoned beasts were still active in the ninja world, there was a place called the Yellow Weasel Grave. The Weasel clan is very powerful. The most important point is that there is nothing they don't eat. Be it snakes, toads, or even insects, they will become food for weasels. Many spiritual beasts have died in the mouths of weasels, so their territory is called a grave. But later they disappeared from the ninja world. I didn't expect to see a living weasel today. They actually signed a contract with the people in the ninja world. Jiraiya, who is that person pretending to be you? Why is he able to summon a weasel? This question also confused Jiraiya. Is this strange summoning beast so scary? It actually feeds on the summoning beasts from the three holy places. Although he knew that the three holy places seemed to have a mutually restraining relationship, he didn't know what was going on when someone suddenly appeared and could kill all three. Looking up, I saw that the weasel had torn the giant snake's scales and sent it back to the Longdi cave with one claw. Orochimaru, don't you want to call out Manda for some fun? Tetsuya smiled and looked down at Orochimaru who had already dodged below. Orochimaru felt cold sweat on his back as he looked at the summoned beast in front of him. If we want to find out what's going on, it looks like we have to defeat the summoned beast and capture that person. Wentai, let's go. Good. Bunta drew the sword from his waist. Toad Flame Blade. Gamabunta spit out toad oil from his mouth which stained the sword, and then he spit out flames from his mouth, igniting the blade. The flaming sword stabbed towards Huang Bai. Flame sword? Don't be so funny. Huang Bai stretched out his claws and took out a pipe from somewhere, and then he slashed upward to deflect Wentai's flaming sword. Then he held the pipe in his mouth and blew out a deep breath. Call. In an instant, sparks filled the sky from the pipe, and they exploded instantly when they fell. Wentai, get out of the way. Jiraiya shouted loudly, and Gamabunta quickly jumped back to avoid the attack. Haha, Toad of Mount Maiboku, you are a bit more powerful than that dragon cave worm just now, but that's all. Huang Bai showed a very human expression. Don't be too arrogant, this is Konoha, Katsuyu, let's go. Okay Tsunade-sama. A huge white Katsuyu appeared and sprayed out thick acid directly towards Huang Bai. Huang Bai's figure was agile and he avoided the attack directly, and the acid directly corroded a building behind Huang Bai into disgrace. Katsuyu from the Shige Bone Forest, you guys got it together at once. Seeing Katsuyu appear, Huang Bai rubbed his paws excitedly. It had not fought with these prey for several years. Huang Bai from Huang Pai Zifen, I didn't expect you to appear in the ninja world again. He, you all can be active in the ninja world, why can't I? With that said, Huang Bai took the pipe and pot in his mouth again. It's useless to talk more. Feel the flame of your yellow and white grandpa. Call. He blew out another breath, and sparks flew out all over the sky in an instant, and the flame exploded in the next breath. Everyone, be careful. With the last experience, Jiraiya hurriedly reminded everyone. However, the Konoha ninjas on the periphery have already run away, and the current battle is no longer at a level they can contact. Don't engage in battles that are not at the same level. If you dare to fight at a level that is not your own, unless you have a cheat, you will be dead. At this moment, the Second Ninja World War had just ended. Most of the ninjas in Konoha village had fought hard from the battlefield and finally came back alive. They understood this truth very deeply. We have to drag him outside the village and fight inside the village. The damage will be too great. But how are we going to get him out? At this moment, a figure as vigorous as a monkey appeared. He holds a huge stick. Beat me immediately. Come on. Ape demon. Oh. The giant stick in his hand suddenly swelled and turned into a long rod, stabbing Huang Bai's body. What? Before he could react, Huang Bai and Tetsuya were pushed out together, and the stick extended directly outside the leaf village. Great, it's the teacher. The person who came was none other than the third Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi. Old man, you are finally here. Now the battlefield has finally been moved outside the village. Withdrawing the giant stick, with a bang, the giant stick turned into a psychic beast, an ape demon. Be careful Hiruzen, that big guy is from the Yellow Weasel clan of Huangpai Zifen. He is very powerful and is good at many strange spells. After seeing his enemy clearly, the ape demon only felt a little scared. Fortunately, the opponent was not prepared just now. I understand, but next, please protect the village with me. No problem. Outside Konoha, Tetsuya patted his clothes with a smile on his face. Oh my, you finally came out monkey, I thought you didn't even plan to come out. Who are you? Why do you want to destroy Konoha? Destroying Konoha? I didn't. It was your 3 students who clung to me, and I fought back only after they showed up. From the beginning, I just wanted to borrow something. As he spoke, Tetsuya waved his hand and dispersed the transformation technique on his body. However, he used the cover of smoke to put on a black robe and put on the yellow one-eyed whirlpool mask again. A scarlet Sharingan emerges. Sarutobi Hiruzen's eyes widened a bit when he saw Tetsuya's appearance. Sharingan. Chapter 73. The moment the yellow vortex mask and a single Sharingan appeared in front of everyone, the identity of the mysterious man who stole the sealed book was already very obvious. He was the masked man Afei who appeared on the battlefield with the man who claimed to be Uchiha Madara. Hello. He opened his arms like this and shouted hello, then twisted his body like crazy. How about it? You didn't expect it to be me. Are you surprised or surprised? Hooligan. With Bunta's help, Jiraiya also brought Tsunade and Orochimaru outside the village. What exactly do you want to do? What is the purpose of stealing our Konoha's sealed book? For what? Of course it's for fun. By the way, I'd like to give you a warning to Konoha village. Please withdraw the troops who are still in the country of rain as soon as possible, otherwise you will regret it. As he spoke, Tetsuya glanced at Tsunade meaningfully. He had reminded them before to let the people of Konoha evacuate the Kingdom of Rain as soon as possible, but there were always some people in Konoha who did not evacuate, and Kato Dan was among them. Counting the time, Tsunade's first boyfriend is about to die. As for why he repeatedly reminded them to withdraw their troops, it was not because he was out of love and wanted to save more people. It's just that he wanted to see if Kato Dan came back alive and whether he and Tsunade would achieve success. If Tsunade becomes a wife, will Jiraiya still like Tsunade? Or, will he like her even more? Wife Tsunade, tisk tisk tisk, seems to be a bonus, ha 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 ha. Sharingan, you are also a member of the Uchiha clan. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Tetsuya and asked. You Uchiha clan are also part of the village, why are you doing this? Do you know that doing this will make your clan members criticized in the village? Haha, monkey, are you planning to morally kidnap me? Tetsuya put away his funny and playful tone, and the Sharingan glowed dangerously red. You guys have changed. Have you been a Hokage for a long time and changed from a ninja to a politician? It's really disgusting. The current Hiruzen Sarutobi feels completely different compared to the Hiruzen Sarutobi he saw at the noodle shop, or the Hiruzen Sarutobi when he first became Hokage. He used to think that Sarutobi Hiruzen was pretty good, but now he made people feel uncomfortable. Is this what power brings? It makes a passionate person condescending and unpleasant. I didn't mean that, I was just reminding you that after all, you also have a Sharingan, you are also an Uchiha, aren't you? Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned. At that moment, many thoughts flashed through his mind. He calls himself Monkey, which means that this person has known him before, and the people who call him Monkey are more or less good friends. He also said that he has changed. He has been a Hokage for a long time and has changed from a ninja to a politician. So this person is most likely to have known him before he became a Hokage. And, one-eyed Sharingan, Uchiha. Don't tell me. Mirror. Is it you? Uchiha Mirror. What? The Sunin on Bunta's head looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen together, and they felt a little incredible. This mysterious Afei is actually Uchiha Mirror, the same generation as the old man. But isn't Uchiha Mirror dead? Uchiha Mirror couldn't come back during the battle. Jai also froze when he heard this. No, what happened to this Sarutobi Hiruzen? He thought he was an Uchiha Mirror? How do I look like Uchiha Mirror? No, it seems that this vest can be used by itself. Wait and think about it. Uchiha Mirror, Shimura Danzo, Sarutobi Hiruzen. I see. In just a moment, Jai had already thought of the script. Sorry Obtou, your script belongs to me. While Tetsuya was thinking, Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Tetsuya who was standing there without any reaction and suddenly felt that he must have guessed correctly, and only if he guessed correctly would the other party have this reaction. Just when he was about to say something, Tetsuya took a deep breath and replied. King Uchiha is dead. He died on the battlefield, you picked it. Tetsuya almost yelled the last sentence. As he spoke, he raised his hand and pointed at Sarutobi Hiruzen. There is no Uchiha Mirror anymore. My name is Afei. My name is Afei. Do you understand? As he spoke, he quickly formed seals with his hands. Lightning style. Thunder technique. In an instant, crazy thunder fell from the sky. Everyone, be careful. Jiraiya immediately activated ninjutsu to protect everyone. Old man. After ninjutsu was activated, Jiraiya discovered that his teacher Hiruzen Sarutobi had no intention of defending at all. There was crazy thunder, explosions, and smoke. But soon the violent thunder subsided. Okay Jiraiya, he's gone. Old man, what on earth is going on? Sunan looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen's complicated expression and was a little curious about what was going on. Let's go back. We'll talk about it later. Sarutobi Hiruzen suddenly felt so tired. At first, the teacher told him that Uchiha Izuna, who was killed by the teacher himself, was resurrected. Although he trusted his teacher very much, he also kept what his teacher said in his heart. But, how is it possible for the dead to be resurrected? Although one of the forbidden techniques left by the teacher can do it, it is not resurrection in the true sense. Then his disciple met the resurrected Uchiha Madara on the battlefield of the Land of Rain. Regarding this matter, although he had the teacher's previous experience, his disciple also said it clearly, and he also somewhat believed in the resurrection of the dead. However, after all, I have never seen this with my own eyes. But today was different. I actually saw the mirror of Uchiha who had long been sacrificed on the battlefield. Although he was wearing a mask, his aura had also changed somewhat. But judging from various clues, it is unmistakable that the masked man is Uchiha Kagami. The dead are resurrected one after another, and they are all Uchiha. There may be big trouble behind these things. Under the command of Hiruzen Sarutobi, all Konoha ninjas returned to the village and began to repair the walls of the village and the streets damaged by the battle, and at the same time strengthened patrols of the village. Sarutobi Hiruzen summoned several of his old buddies and started an emergency meeting. In a corner where no one cares, one of the three teams from Cloud Hidden Village successfully kidnapped Kushina Uzumaki and took her out of Konoha village. Haha, it's really great. I didn't expect everything to go so smoothly. That's right, I didn't expect that someone was invading Konoha. With such a big movement, I'm afraid everyone in Konoha went to deal with the intruders. Originally, what we did was very secretive. Now no one will notice that there is a little ghost missing in Konoha village. The three of them were very happy and felt that today was their lucky day. Chapter 74. The three of them moved very quickly, taking Kushina with them and evacuating far away. They are not stupid. They will not let down their guard just because Konoha has been invaded by others and attracted people from Konoha. They will not relax until they successfully leave the country of fire with Kushina. However, he was still a little excited because of the success of this mission, and did not notice Kushina's little movements. Kushina followed the three of them obediently, but secretly threw her special long red hair on the ground, leaving clues in the hope that someone would find her traces. But at the same time, I am a little sad, because after all, I am just an outsider, and I am afraid that no one will risk their lives to save me, an outsider. It was dark at night, the dark clouds in the sky covered the moon, and the road in the forest seemed particularly dim. Even experienced ninjas need to proceed with caution. Suddenly, an afterimage passed by, and a Kumigakure ninja disappeared. What's going on? The other two people turned around and saw only their companions lying on the ground, but nothing else. The next moment, another person fell to the ground. Jainin, who was leading the team, also knew that someone was conducting a sneak attack in the dark. They were careless just now. They were so excited because of their success that they didn't realize that someone was attacking them. Jainin, who was leading the team, suddenly became nervous and quickly jumped and hid in a tree. Observe the surroundings carefully and vigilantly. But he didn't notice the figure coming from behind. Minato made a clean move, hitting the man on the back of the head. With one successful blow, the person instantly lost consciousness and fell from the treetops. After successfully defeating all the enemies, Minato jumped down from the tree. At this moment, the dark clouds in the sky dispersed, revealing the moon. The moonlight shone on the road in the forest, and Minato's figure appeared in front of Kushina. "You're not hurt? I'm here to save you." Kushina, who was forced to run wildly all night by 3 Kumoyan village ninjas, raised her head tiredly and looked forward. Only then did she notice that the ninjas from other villages had disappeared, and a boy she knew was standing in front. Seeing Minato coming to save her, Kushina smiled in surprise, but after relaxing, she suddenly felt tired and fell forward. First being kidnapped, and then running so far at night, she was exhausted both mentally and physically. Minato hurriedly stepped forward and helped Kushina. "It's okay now. I'll take you back to the village." As he spoke, he picked it up. Wait a minute." Kushina wanted to say something else, but Minato jumped up and rushed out of the woods with her. Under the moonlight, Kushina carefully observed the handsome beauty of the young man in front of her. "As expected of you, Minato, flirting with girls under the moonlight." Tetsuya, who had finished his acting skills with Sarutobi Hiruzen and the others, rushed over here immediately. It was better to arrive early than to arrive by chance, and he happened to see Minato flirting with a girl under the moon. "Very good. All this is quite reasonable. The only thing that is not very reasonable is that the strength of these 2 Chunin and 1 Jainin is a bit weak." As he spoke, he came to the 3 ninjas who were collapsed on the ground, looked at them carefully, and kicked them twice. "Didn't you kill him, just knock him unconscious?" "As expected of you, Minato, you are really a little son. Unfortunately, it is not good to be too kind to the enemy." Tetsuya took out 3 kunao from his pocket, threw them away, and directly pierced the hearts of the 3 of them. In order to better implement his next plan, the only people who can successfully return alive from this mission are the 2 idiots Yelika and Yurubi. After removing the roots for Minato, Tetsuya turned around and left, heading to the meeting point first to wait for other Kumagakure ninjas who could come back alive. In Konoha's Hokage building, in the conference room, Konoha F4 gathered again, and Konoha Sunin was also there. Danzo came up with just one sentence. "Hiruzen, the village was attacked just after the war ended. This is your dereliction of duty as a Hokage." It can only be said that Danzo is still the same Danzo, and he has never given up on the matter of getting Sarutobi Hiruzen to dismount and himself ascending to the throne. "Okay Danzo, please stop saying a few words. No one has thought of the enemy attacking the village. It was Mito Minoyan who came out to smooth things over. It's getting late. The village has just been attacked and it needs to be repaired tomorrow. If you need anything, just tell Hiruzen." Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at everyone present and said. "Everyone, I already know who the person who attacked the village is." "Who is it?" "That person is Kagami, Uchiha Kagami." "Impossible. Absolutely impossible." When he heard Sarutobi Hiruzen say that the mysterious man who attacked the village was Uchiha Kagami, Shimura Danzo stood up directly, slammed the table and shouted. "Uchiha Mirror is dead. He is already dead. How can a dead person be resurrected?" "Danzo, are you questioning me?" Sarutobi Hiruzen also responded unceremoniously. "Danzo, Hiruzen, you two should calm down and talk to each other if you have anything to say." "That's right. Let's talk carefully. Is there anything we can't talk about?" Although the paddling duo were a little surprised, they didn't really believe that the dead could be resurrected, but rather than yelling like Danzo, they wanted to find out what was going on. "Hiruzen, please tell me clearly, why are you so sure that that person is Uchiha Kagami? Is there any reason?" Danzo sat down and stared at Hiruzen Sarutobi with his only remaining eye. He wanted to see what Hiruzen Sarutobi could say. "Actually, I had already begun to suspect that the masked man named Fei was Kage as early as the last time Jiraiya and the others came back." Sarutobi Hiruzen gave the reason why he judged that the opponent was a mirror. First of all, Jing's body was scattered outside and was not recovered. They were not sure whether he was really dead or not. Then, the masked man seems to be very familiar with his own moves and calls himself Monkey. The only people who can call themselves monkeys are the group of people who followed second Hokage. And that person is an Uchiha, or an Uchiha who is very familiar with the village. Moreover, not many people outside Konoha knew that the sealed book existed, and as soon as that person arrived, he went straight to the Hokage building to look for the sealed book. As well as Sarutobi Hiruzen expressed his thoughts one by one. The paddling duo nodded repeatedly, feeling that it made sense. The most important thing is that when I revealed the identity of the masked man and called out Uchiha Kagami's name, he reacted very loudly and strongly denied that he was Uchiha Kagami. And this just makes me more convinced that the person hiding behind the mask is the mirror. Sarutobi Hiruzen said and looked at Sunan. Jiraiya and the others can also testify to this last point. They also saw it at that time. Jiraiya and the other three nodded, proving that what their teacher said was true. At that time, the masked man's reaction was indeed great. At the same time, Jiraiya added. Now that I think about it carefully, the masked man must be very familiar with the village. He evacuated in a direction with fewer people in the village, and during the battle, he also deliberately avoided places with many people. Obviously, that person had some feelings for the village. Orochimaru continued to add. That person is very strong. Although it doesn't sound nice to say it, when that person fought against us, he never made a killing blow. It was more like giving guidance to the incompetent juniors. Chapter 75. No matter what you say, I still don't believe that person is Jing. That's it. I still have a lot of things to do at the route, so I'll leave first. After that, Danzo got up and left directly. Danzo. Okay, let him go. Mito Katoyan originally wanted to persuade Danzo, but Sarutobi Hiruzen directly stopped Mito Katoyan. Hiruzen. It's okay, Danzo needs to calm down, let's continue the meeting. Sarutobi Hiruzen knocked on the table and said. Now it is basically confirmed that the masked man named Afei is Mirror, so what we have to do now is to figure out why they were resurrected, what their purpose was after resurrection, and why they came to Konoha to steal the seal book. Orochimaru licked his lips and spoke. Teacher, I have a guess. What guess? Perhaps, Senior Jing was reincarnated for the purpose of dirt. Reincarnation in the dirt. The one developed by Lord Second Hokage, a technique that can resurrect the dead. As the current Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi has naturally read the Book of Sealings, and he knows that there is such a forbidden technique in the Book of Sealings. Yes, I speculate that Senior Jing was resurrected by someone or some force after his death. However, the opponent's resurrection technique may have some flaws or limitations. Therefore, in order to perfect their technique, they wanted to steal the sealed book and study the reincarnation of the dirty earth on it to perfect their technique. At this time, Jiraiya raised his own question. But, judging from what happened just now, it doesn't seem like the resurrected Senior Jing has any flaws. No, maybe there is a flaw, but he just covered it up. Tsunade said thoughtfully. From the very beginning, he used the transformation technique to become Jiraiya. Even if his identity was exposed later, after the transformation was released, he also put on a mask for himself. If the other party put on the mask to conceal his identity, then it would be meaningless to continue wearing the mask at the moment when the old man exposed him. But he still continues to wear the mask, which means that the other party wears the mask not only to conceal his identity, but also to conceal his own flaws. After hearing what he felt, Orochimaru nodded in agreement. Teacher, do you still remember when second-generation Sama told you that there was something unusual about the resurrected Izuna-senpai? When asked by Orochimaru, Sarutobi Hiruzen recalled it carefully. Yes, the teacher told me at the beginning that the resurrected Uchiha Izuna seems to have gained immortality, and even having his chest pierced has no effect. At this point, everyone understood that it was probably just as Orochimaru said, the method of resurrecting Uchiha Mirror and the others was flawed, so they put on masks, and the reason why Uchiha Mirror came to steal the sealed book was I hope to obtain the reincarnation of the dirty earth in the sealed book to perfect the technique of resurrection. Now that I think about it, it makes more and more sense. Orochimaru continued. Teacher, then, I'm afraid there is a person behind all this. He is resurrecting those powerful ninjas who have died, and he may have a secret that we don't know about. Well, it sounds like things are a bit serious. Originally I thought it was just an ordinary attack, but when the clues were connected together, it seemed that a bigger conspiracy was involved. It can only be said that the results of their reasoning are getting more and more outrageous. And just when everyone in Konoha was feeling troubled by this huge conspiracy, the real mastermind behind it had returned to the capital of the Land of Fire. Successfully wiped out all the ninjas of Cloud Hidden Village who participated in this mission, leaving only Yelika and Yurabi. Sir, how should we return to Union Village this time for business? After disposing of the body, Yelika asked. The two of them survived. Unless they defected to Union Village now and became traitorous ninjas from then on, they would eventually have to return to Union Village to hand in the mission, even if the mission failed. I have already thought of a way to do this. You can take these things and go back to deliver the work. Tetsuya took out a few scrolls and handed them to the two of them. Here are some ninjutsu from Konoha. When the time comes, tell me that you two stole it during the chaos. I think you should be able to get some credit. The two of them were extremely happy holding the scroll in their hands. Thank you, sir. Don't thank me in a hurry, I have a task to give you. My lord, please give me your instructions. Tetsuya hooked their shoulders on the left and right and said. As for me, I hope that you two will have a good time after returning to Union Village, strive to get to the top, and become my eyes and ears in Union Village. Do you understand? Whatever you need in Union Village, I will go through it all and provide you with some help. As long as you can climb higher and get better at it, the more help you can give me in the future. No problem, I promise to complete the task. Very good, I believe you. With that said, Tetsuya let go of the two of them and patted their shoulders. You two should go back to Cloud Hidden Village sometime. By the way, you can also learn the ninjutsu on the scroll if you are interested. Thank you, sir. After arranging the two of them, Tetsuya left their stronghold. On the outskirts of the capital of the country of fire, Chiba Manor. The morning sun was rising, and dew was still hanging on the branches and leaves of the flowers, plants, and trees in the manor, and the sound of throwing shurikens could already be heard in the open field. Nagato's 10 rings, Konan's 10 rings, and Yahiko's 10 rings. Izuna walked past each wooden stake and checked whether the shuriken on the target hit the mark. The result is quite good and meets Izuna's requirements. Very good, it seems that your practice during this period has not been in vain, and you have made great progress. Okay, I just said I was a genius. Yahiko put his hands on his hips and was very happy with his results. Oh? Really? Such a talented kid Yahiko, I have a mock test paper for 3 years of study and 5 years of business. Would you like to take a look? I heard this familiar voice full of bad taste coming from behind. Yahiko couldn't help but tremble all over, and a chill rose up from the back of his spine and went straight to the Tianling cap jet. Yalalao, teacher. Tetsuya-sensei. Welcome back, teacher. The three of them looked back at the door of the manor. Jai narrowed his eyes slightly and smiled. He walked slowly from outside the manor with his hands behind his back. I haven't seen you for a few days. Did you miss me? The three of them lowered their heads in perfect agreement and did not answer the question. Obviously, they were very happy during the past few days when Tetsuya was away. After all, no child likes to be tortured by math problems. In this ninja world that advocates force, they all like to practice ninjutsu more than solving problems. Oh my, you really make people sad. Fortunately, I brought you delicious food. Since no one misses me, I will eat it myself. As he spoke, Tetsuya took out various snacks from behind. When the three little guys saw the food, their eyes lit up and they immediately gathered around. Of course I miss you, Teacher Tetsuya. We are thinking of you every day that you are gone. Teacher Tetsuya is the best. Haha, since you all miss me so much, I'll give you all the food. After taking the food, the three of them immediately took it apart and started dividing it. Just when the three of them were happiest. Eat, eat. After you finish eating, it's time for me to check your homework. You haven't missed any of your homework these days. Ah! If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you're notified of future uploads. You can find the next parts in the playlist visible on the screen or on my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.